I'm asking, Lord, today that you keep each and every one of us. Lead and guide us where we need to go in our footsteps, Lord. And let us turn from other ways that we have that are not pleasing to you. Let us be kind to each other and speak wonderful words of each other. Let us not tear each other down, but lift each other up, Lord, with our words on today, Lord. We thank you for it today. We ask that you bless our men and women all over the world that are serving in the military and in uniforms, Lord. We ask that you keep them, Lord. Keep each and every one of them. And those that are in higher places that have authority over us, Lord, we ask that you give them the right decision, that they have enough to come to you and ask for help. But we thank you on today. If anyone's suffering, you said you could call upon you and you will answer and show us great and mighty things that we know not of, Lord. You said there's nothing too hard for you in your word, Lord. But we thank you on today that someone will turn and just come back to you, Lord, on today, and you will get the credit and the honor. And we ask that you encamp your angels each and round about each and every one of us in traveling mercies. And when it's all said and done, that you will get the glory out of everything. All in favor in Jesus' name, say amen.
Amen. And you did that without a breath. Wendy, thank you.
You're welcome.
The complete written request to address the board shall be submitted at the beginning of the open session portion of the meeting. Individuals may comment after being recognized by the board president and before board discussion of a particular item according to board policy 2350. Do we have any items that have been deleted or corrected from the agenda tonight?
No.
No. We are going to take a 5 to 10 minute little break to honor two of our tenured employees, John Newen and Jennifer Law. Are they both here? Are you here?
Oh, you need to do the action item of actually granting the tenure.
1.6, 1.6, 1.6.
Okay, so I need a motion.
Business
What?
first.
What's that?
Motion to move 1.6 to the top of the agenda.
On the academic tenured,
It's actually
Second.
there at the top.
yeah, it's
Motion
a
to.
motion. I need a second for the academic tenured employee recommendation for John Newen and Jennifer Lott. I have a motion by trustee Wood and a second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Is it John Wynn? Did I get it right or wrong? Close? Okay. Wynn, sorry. Nope.
Nope.
You want to do a verbal?
So's my phone.
Click it like you mean a girl. Allegedly. There it is. Blame born dogs. It could never be you.
So Dr. Wong's going to explain quickly what we're going to do for a couple minutes here.
Okay, so when a faculty member comes on full-time, they're in a tenured track, and they go through 4 years of being evaluated each year. And if they get to the fourth year, according to the Ed Code, if the committee makes the recommendation and the board grants permission and accepts the committee's recommendation, we're talking about their evaluation committee, then they become a tenured full-time faculty. And we have two here tonight. I'd like them to come up here if they would. Jennifer Law, a counselor, come right on, Jennifer, and John. Come on, John, come up here. So we have a plaque for them. Congratulations on your tenure, presented to Jennifer Law. Your appreciation for your commitment to excellence at Victor Valley College, August 2024. That's when it becomes effective. And then for you, John, the same thing, August 24th. So let's get a picture of that. Okay. And now you get a break and have some cake.
Yeah, so we're going to have a break. Anybody who'd like a piece of cake is encouraged to come to the back. We're going to make this real quick. It's 6:07. We'll be back here at 6:17.
Right through here, okay. Jennifer, John, you guys need to lead the way.
I have lots of notes for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Two people look up and say he's not on the board. Everyone says you're absolutely. Oh, yeah.
About to go back?
No, we got people. I want to definitely have this play. It's 20 minutes of whatever. What? No, he's not, but for $20 he can get on. It's cash. No credit cards, Caleb. Of course you can get on, dude. Here. No. Oh, yeah, he is. What?
Well, they were not here when I turned in the code.
Oh, okay, cool. No, wait. You got juice. Everybody knows who you are.
You gotta try and see if he can play it.
What's that?
You gotta see if he'll do it. You're gonna see if he's gonna play it.
Oh, no, I told him we'll do it in July. We'll do it in July.
To do this in July. Okay.
We'll have to do it in July.
Okay. Cake? You gonna go for cake?
Yeah, I've got a little bit. Not that I need it, but.
That's fine, I have any.
Cake time. How you doing?
This would have been Joe. COVID year because two people were hired. That's why we went to two.
That's right, we'll start. If you said those pilot at Southwest, I gotta go to the bathroom, and so we just close the door. Your next flight is? I'm telling you, we've been flying a lot lately. I don't know what is your last meeting, right?
Oh, it's my second to last. My last meeting, I'm doing presentations.
They take off now like June. It's like it's hard. June, right?
It's really hard.
Hey, Jacob, you gotta break that party up, would you?
Nah,
Yeah, you. Huh?
don't break it up.
Wow.
Party on, Wayne.
Okay, public comments related to non-agendized items. At this time, the board of trustees will listen to communication from the public on non-agendized items pertaining to college business. Each speaker is limited to one presentation per meeting on non-agendized matters. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual and a total of 15 minutes per topic. Speakers will be timed electronically, and all speakers will be called to approach the microphone at the appropriate time to speak. Only those who have been recognized by the board president will be permitted to speak. State law prohibits the board from addressing any issues not included on the agenda according to board policy 2350. We have 6 people have asked to speak, and our first person is Michael Brady on healthcare for part-time faculty. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you for taking the time to hear me tonight. My name is Michael Brady. I've been a part-time instructor in the English department here at VVC for 8 years in September. I'm here to speak on fully funding healthcare for part-time faculty. A number of years ago, I didn't have health insurance. I didn't have the money for it at the time. I was scraping to get by, trying to begin my career in education. And I figured it'd be a temporary thing, and as soon as I was in a better place, I'd get back on a plan. Before I was able to do that, I suffered a fall. I fell hard and landed on my shoulder, and it hurt a lot, and I still remember when I sat down on the couch, I felt my arm pop out and then back in. I definitely saw stars when that happened. I seriously considered going to the hospital, but I didn't have the hundreds needed for an emergency room bill, much less money for any treatment that could be prescribed, like physical therapy. I weighed things as best I could, and my arm was back in place. It wasn't dislocated anymore, and I figured that if I rested, was very careful, did everything I could, it'd be all right. So that's what I did. I didn't see a doctor about it until much later, after I got insurance, because what happened was even after it healed, I started experiencing times when it would pop out again. The doctors, when I finally saw them, said that it was something called a subluxation, a partial dislocation that never healed properly. I've done everything I could since then, from physical therapy to at-home stretching, and it'll probably give me problems for the rest of my life. And now we're here at a crossroads, and you decide which direction we'll go. Part-timers make up around 70% of the teaching workforce. Even working at multiple schools and teaching classes in the summer, it's often a struggle to make $50,000 a year. We have the opportunity to provide health care for pretty much every teacher at the school, and it won't cost the college a dime. The state will provide for 100% of the cost. If we think about this proposal and really consider it and weigh the potential harm versus the potential good, why not just take the free money from the state of California? We should never place a part-time faculty member in that situation where they have to choose between going to the doctor and having enough money to get by. The choice can have consequences that last the rest of someone's life. Please accept the state funding and fully implement the union's part-time faculty health care proposal here at VVC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Our next speaker is Lauren Golder, part-time faculty healthcare.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, trustees. My name is Lauren Golder, and I'm on the board of the VVC Part-Time Faculty Union. And I've been teaching history here at VVC since 2019. So I'm here with my union tonight to encourage the district to accept our proposal of 100% healthcare coverage for part-timers, which, as Mike mentioned, would be funded by the state of California's part-time faculty health insurance program at no cost to the district. While we really, and I mean really, appreciate our new healthcare pilot program, unfortunately, that partial reimbursement is still not enough to cover a lot of our members with children and families. In my role on the union board, I've spent the last year and a half speaking with part-time faculty here at VVC about healthcare. And I know that full healthcare coverage would make a huge difference for our members and our families, not only in terms of improved health, but also in allowing them to devote more time and attention to our students, which is, of course, our #1 priority. So, for example, one instructor shared with me that he's uninsured, and so anytime him or one of his kids needs a medication, he has to drive to Mexico to buy it for a more affordable price because of prescription drug prices for uninsured people here in the US. So that's hours and hours of time that he's spending that he could be devoting to our students, but he instead has to use it to drive to another country to get affordable medications. And that's just one story. For every un- or underinsured faculty member here, there are stories of hardships and challenges that take their attention away from teaching or sometimes even keep them out of the classroom entirely. Our part-time faculty work really hard for VVC, and access to quality, affordable healthcare will allow us to better serve our students and continue building a caring campus. I hope you'll accept the state funding and fully implement our part-time faculty healthcare proposal here at VVC. Thank you so much.
The one and only Jacob Kleinsmith. There's only one.
I know.
Yeah,
Be a twin out there.
yeah, let's hope not.
Good evening. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Jacob Kleinsmith, and tonight I wanted to share my experience with former trustee Henderson. Mr. Henderson was a longtime friend of my family and colleagues with both my father in the Sheriff's Department and with my late grandfather here at Victor Valley College. Before he started his tenure as the longest-serving trustee in 1997, he was well known in the Sheriff's Department for his work on crimes against children cases. And even before that, he served in the Navy during Vietnam. I first properly met Mr. Henderson at our ASB retreat last summer, and after talking with about our families, I was able to give his wife my grandmother's phone number, and they were able to rekindle their friendship after losing contact for quite some time. During our trip to Washington, D.C., I got to know him pretty well. I got to hear some of his old cop stories, stories of Apple Valley in its youth, and his memories of my grandfather. On behalf of my family, we'd like to thank him for his service and commitment to not only this college, but to this county and to this nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob, thanks, your class act. Gabriela Vallejo, part-time faculty healthcare.
Good evening. My name is Gabriela Vallejo, and I have been a part-time counselor and instructor for 2 years here at Victor Valley College. I am here today with my union AFT 6286 to urge you to make the use of the new money from the state to fully fund healthcare for part-time faculty. My whole life, I have suffered from severe asthma. This has affected my everyday life, and my inhalers and cost so hundreds of dollars a month, making it impossible for me to afford it sometimes. I truly believe that if you were in my position spending over $500 a month on healthcare coverage, you would be at the podium asking for the same benefits as the full-time faculty. Please put yourself in my shoes. Your decision will impact not only my life, but so many other people's here at VVC. Thank you for your time.
Khalid Castaneda, healthcare.
Caleb?
Caleb. Did I get it right? Close?
One of those times. Good evening, Dr. Walden, President Brady, distinguished trustees. I'm here today to talk about part-time faculty healthcare. And I first want to give you a compliment because this is not the only college I teach at. I also teach at Chaffey College and I teach at Crafton Hills College, which is part of San Bernardino District. And you have been far more generous than those other districts have in addressing part-time faculty healthcare. So thank you for that. I was able to upgrade my health insurance last year, or this year, as opposed to last year, because of the generous subsidies that you gave. And I appreciate that. The problem is my children were not covered because you are in the 50% plan, not the 100% plan. I have 3 small children. You've met, I believe, Lennon and Olivia, but you haven't met Lucas. And Lucas is the one who needs it the most. He's on the spectrum, so he needs lots of care. He needs constant attention, even now that he's at school. Victor Elementary School District actually hired him a one-on-one, aide to kind of help him. He struggles, but he needs that health insurance. He has IEHP, but that's taxpayer funded. I'd rather not depend on the state of California to get my health care when I'm working full-time hours in the community college district. So I would appreciate you moving to the 100% plan. As you know, COLA this year, not good, right? So we're looking for ways to fund things and to get our employees the care that they need at no cost to us, right? This is a no-brainer because California will pay 100%. And there's no danger of us hitting the limit and you not getting that 100%. There's $200 million every year. Only 20 million of that has been claimed. So you will get that money. And then you can use the money that you're currently spending on healthcare, the 50%. Like, what about student books, like a student book grant, or something for student housing, right? We can use current monies that we're spending on things right now to fund programs that we'd like to fund, but the state's not giving us, enough money. So I'd like to urge you to participate 100% the California funded healthcare. Thank you.
Our last speaker is a former trustee here at Victor Valley Community College, Michael Kraus.
Good evening, President Brady, Vice President Pinkerton, Trustee Wood, Trustee Tarpley, and Student Trustee Weiss. This evening, I just had a few comments. I wanted to address the passing of Trustee Dennis Henderson. I did have the privilege of sitting on the dais with him here, and as a fellow veteran as well, we had many great stories to swap with each other, even though he was Navy and I was Army. A lot of great conversations we had, and he would always talk to me about fishing and giving me some tips on that. But I appreciate his dedication to the college, to the community. I want to thank his family for the many years that they shared him with us in the high desert. We are a family up here, no matter who we are, and it was sad. I was very sad to learn of his passing, but I just wanted to say a few words about him and appreciated everything that he did. I also wanted to thank Dr. Walden and his team this evening because they have done a great job of casting a wide net into community to help fill this position. There will be an appointment process, and I've heard many great things out in the community about the communications that have went out, letting the community know about the process, and it's just great to hear because people want to know what's going on in our community. So thank you, Dr. Walden, and your teams, and kudos to them for the process. And we look forward to the process and who might be the next trustee up here until the November election. So thank you very much, trustees. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Michael. Our next speaker is very special to the High Desert region, Mojave River Valley region, I should say. Somebody that worked at the city of Hesperia 20-plus years ago in economic development, who we got to know then. For different reasons, he moved on to the city of Riverside and the city of San Bernardino, and Rachel Molina, the city manager, was able to lure him back. He oversees economic development planning and engineering. He's a great asset to the city. I think Nathan's got some very exciting things to talk about with Hesperia. So Nathan Freeman, come on up, and thanks for making the time to do this tonight.
Well, I have a presentation. There it goes. Well, good evening, President Brady, honorable trustees. Again, my name is Nathan Freeman. I'm the Director of Development Services for the City of Hesperia. One small clarification, I oversee planning, building and safety, and economic development. Engineering recently moved over to Public Works with the hiring of our new Public Works Director, Cassandra Sanchez. So a lot of tears were shed on my side when that happened. I'm being facetious. So
We didn't hear any rumors.
Yeah, no rumors whatsoever. So the bulk of my background, as Joe alluded to, has been in the field of economic development. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. And when Mr. Brady asked me to come and talk, I immediately accepted because any day, or in this case evening, I get to talk about economic development is a good day for me. So I hope what I'm going to talk about you guys will find informative and hopefully whet your appetite a little bit so that in the future you guys invite me back so I can talk a little bit more about what's happened in our wonderful city. So one of the things that was immediately evident to me when I started with the city of Hesperia is that Hesperia did not have an economic development plan. Everything we did was just kind of willy-nilly, reactionary. And so one of the things that I've really put a focus on is adding structure to that specific division that I oversee so that everything we do has a purpose. Everything we do is methodical, it's well thought out, et cetera. So as you're developing an economic development plan, especially what we're doing from scratch, basically, you have to understand your community. When we come to like retail and new businesses that we want to attract, we need to understand what our community wants, and more specifically, what are the skills of our community so that we can attract the kind of businesses that they can be employed in. So very foundational stuff that hasn't been done in a long time, but we're right in the middle of. So today we're going to take, I think, a foundational approach to economic development in the city of Hesperia. I'm going to talk to you about some really cool things happening. There's so much that we're on the precipice of that I can't share today, but I'm hoping that you guys will like my presentation. You'll invite me back because I think in a year you're going to see some amazing changes in the city of Hesperia. So let's get started. As I mentioned, one of the most imperative things in economic development we can do, especially when we're thinking about what kind of retail we want to attract to this community, is what does our community want? So how do you understand what your community wants? Well, you have to ask them. And so in early January, my department partnered with the city manager's office, and we issued an online survey through social media, the city's website. I'm sure some of these folks had a chance to participate. For a city of 100,000 people, we had almost 1,500 responses. And they were interesting, but they weren't altogether surprising, but it's really good data for us and is going to help direct us in the future. So I want to go through that with you really quick. So we asked Hesperians across 9 categories, where are you doing your shopping? And the results were kind of sobering. And of all of those categories, only one category, groceries, Hesperians do the bulk of their shopping inside of Hesperia. And so when I'm talking to staff about that, I'm the eternal optimist. I see nothing but opportunity here. Here's a compelling narrative that I can take with Joe up to ICSC and say, there's a real need here in Hesperia for these things. Hesperians are shopping, they are buying these things, they're just doing it outside of our community. And I would venture to say that some of this is probably relative for Victorville and Apple Valley as well. Beyond that, we asked them, okay, so where are you doing your shopping specifically? And this was interesting. The majority of the respondents are driving down to Rancho in Ontario. Not surprising because of Victoria Gardens, Ontario Mills, but for Hesperians, we're losing a lot of that sales tax revenue to the city of Victorville, the city of Apple Valley. Most folks who live over on the east side of Apple Valley, it's much closer and more convenient for them to drive over to Just Ranch than it is to drive over to the High Desert Gateway. So we're losing revenue there, and 7% said other. And so one of the things that was really evident in that survey was that Hesperians, and I would venture to say people in Victorville and Apple Valley, are very conscious that when they are making their purchases in Rancho Cucamonga or Ontario, they are benefiting those respective communities. Communities like Rancho, Ontario, Hesperia, we live and die on sales tax revenue. It's what pays for our cops, our firefighters, our new roads, et cetera. And so the next logical question was, okay, you're shopping outside of this community. What are we missing here in Hesperia? And the results were interesting. We said family entertainment. And one of the things that a lot of respondents pointed to was, we need a Bolero, we need a Dave & Buster's, we need a place where a family can go and be entertained. And some of the responses were, there's nothing like that in the entire high desert, not just Hesperia. If we want that experience, we have to drive down the hill. We also want more sit-down chain restaurants. And the responses from Hesperians was, we don't want what's in Victorville or Apple Valley. We want things that are uniquely Hesperia. Obviously, home improvement stores, Lowe's, Home Depot. But what was really interesting, and this isn't even retail, is they asked for a trauma center, a hospital here in the high desert. I don't think it's lost on this board that if you get in a car accident and you need to go to a trauma center, you're getting airlifted down to Fontana. And this is going to be really important in one of my slides coming up, that I think as the high desert, we have a lot of people commuting down the hill, and a lot of people are going to those professions. So we collectively can make a case and an argument that somewhere here in the high desert, we need a trauma center. They also asked for major retailers. We heard Sam's Club and Costco. And it was really interesting was grocery stores. I'm like, okay, I haven't been in Hesperia that long, but I feel like Stater Brothers has us covered. But they were asking for a greater diversity of grocery stores. So I heard things like Sprouts. And honestly, no survey would be complete without the obligatory, we want a Sam's Club, or I'm sorry, Trader Joe's. So yes, a lot of people said Trader Joe's. And in our survey, we tried to say, don't ask for Trader Joe's, but people did anyways. So.
Give the people what they want.
Yes, well, I want to deliver. Nobody wants to give Hesperia or the high desert a Trader Joe's more than me. So again, as we're building our economic development agenda, our program, our strategy, we understand, again, what was this, what would attract a business theoretically to the city of Hesperia? And so some of the things that a business, especially one that's moving from out of the city, is going to look for is Hesperia a growing community. And as you can see, I've kind of got us compared against some of our neighboring communities. The city of Hesperia, as Joe mentioned, when I worked here almost 20 years ago, was barely 60,000 people. Now we're well over 100,000. And one of the projects I'm going to talk about a little bit is Silverwood. That's going to add probably another 50 to 75,000 people to the city of Hesperia. So if you are a business, a retailer, and you're looking for a city that is growing, Hesperia is it. Also, median income. So median income is, Joe being a broker can tell you, that is the gold standard for assessing what is the disposable income in a community. And so as you can see, we're almost 30,000. What this graph doesn't show is that just 10 years ago, the median income in Hesperia was less than 20. So in 10 years, we've grown exponentially. And one of the most important things that we were able to ascertain as we were going through this was we wanted to know, what does our workforce look like? Because if we identify who our workforce is, then we can go and try to attract businesses that can locate and operate here in Hesperia. So the city of Hesperia has a workforce of roughly 40,000 people. And it's pretty sobering that every single day, 73% of our workforce drives not just to Victorville or Apple Valley, but down the hill for employment. And so I don't think it's lost on anybody in this room. If you've seen the traffic going on the 15 South every day, it is obnoxious and getting worse, what seems every single day. So we have a charge, if you will, from our city council to build an industry here in the city of Hesperia so that we can pull people off that freeway. So yeah, I don't think it goes without saying that if I work in Hesperia, I live in Hesperia, I shop in Hesperia, the ancillary economic benefits are huge. And the quality of life, having commuted myself, it's a drag. I mean, it really wears on you after a while. So our goal is to pull people off the freeway, and I think we're doing that. So one of the interesting things that came out of this is we were identifying who's commuting out of our city for work, where are they going specifically, and interesting enough, the largest percentage of commuters out of Hesperia are going to manufacturing and industrial jobs, followed only by healthcare. So remember I talked about our community wanting a trauma center. I think there's a conversation that could be had that if a trauma center or a hospital were to open anywhere in the high desert, they would have no problem filling their employment. And you can see, for the sake of time, I'm not going to break it down, but I mean, it was really interesting for us because some of the projects that we're working on, which I'm going to touch a little later, are going to directly benefit those people who are commuting. So one of the things I love to talk about anytime I have a chance to speak on economic development is how housing and economic development, they're not mutually exclusive. They are tied at the hip. And so, as I mentioned earlier, if we want the kind of retail that our constituents have articulated, we need to have the rooftops. There's an old adage in economic development, it's retail chases rooftops. You want a Trader Joe's, well, you have to have enough people to support it. So one of the most, and this really was the project that excited me about coming back to Hesperia because massive master plan communities like Silverwood just do not exist in this state anymore. This is one of the last. And our friends at Silverwood, DMB Development, you've probably seen over off Ranchero Road, they've been grading for over 2 years. 2 years to get to the point where in first quarter of next year, their model homes are going to be open. And they're estimating, even with an interest rate at 7 or 8%, that they're going to be selling anywhere from 500 to 1,000 homes every single year. And some of the biggest home builders in Southern California are part of this project. So very exciting times. So there is a lot of excitement for retail inside of that development. Where I talked about a lot of people who live on the east side are driving over to Apple Valley. Well, here's an opportunity to keep them closer to home. And just for the sake of time, we've had a lot of housing projects going on through the city. Very exciting stuff. So perfect segue into Maersk. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with the international shipping company Maersk. They are in the process of opening in the city of Hesperia right now. They are taking down 1.2 million square feet of industrial space. Just for context, that was the third largest commercial transaction in the entire Inland Empire in 2023. They are going to be hiring, once fully staffed, almost 600 people. And I think it's good context. If you remember, what is the largest contingency of people commuting from Hesperia down the hill? Manufacturing and industrial. Maersk has a location in my hometown of Redlands. 20% of their workforce lives up here. And when we met with Maersk, they were uber conscious of some of those statistics that I shared with you, and they said, boy, we've got 20% of our workforce lives in the high desert. You better believe that every single one of them already put in a transfer up here. So just imagine, if you will, 600 less people on the freeway every single day. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a start. So we are excited. They're going to be opening. I just signed off on a temporary certificate of occupancy yesterday, and they're going to be fully staffed by the end of the summer. What is nice about these jobs is, as they've articulated to me, you come in, you can start making $18 an hour, but if you hustle and you show an eagerness to learn, within 3 months you are guaranteed to get promoted, and you could be making up to $30 an hour within a year. That is significant. So we are very excited to welcome them to the city of Hesperia. We have 13 million square feet of industrial that is either going through the permitting entitlement phase or is actively under construction right now. And our city council recently approved the KISS Logistics Center. Although it's not in my presentation, they are an actual manufacturer. This is not just industrial warehouse space, and they're going to be employing close to 700 people, most of whom will be making $30 an hour or more. So very exciting stuff. Beyond that, I think everybody's familiar with Brightline, how Hesperia fits into all of this. There's going to be a station in Hesperia. And although you're not going to be able to hop on that and go to Vegas, you are going to be able to hop on it in the morning and get down to Rancho or Ontario. And one of the exciting things for us is if you think about transit centers everywhere else, what is immediately around them? Gas stations, food, retail, etc. So we see an amazing opportunity to deliver some of the commercial that our city wants. I don't know if you guys knew this, we don't have a Chick-fil-A in Hesperia. And that is one of the, outside of Trader Joe's, that's the thing I hear the most. Get us a Chick-fil-A. We're tired of driving to Victorville. So maybe here, did I get an amen back there? They get a lot, yeah, it's obnoxious.
They've actually located the site, but the seller won't sell to them. That's the problem.
We're trying.
Yeah.
So I think my measure of success here will to get a Chick-fil-A. Then I can retire a happy man. But these kind of projects make it much easier for us to entice a Chick-fil-A to come here because you've got a built-in audience. What is the first thing you do after you get off the train? Well, usually if you're like me, you're hungry or you need gas or something like that. So we think it's an amazing opportunity. So real quick, we've had the opportunity just over the last 3 or 4 months to open some significant retail in our community. Personal favorite of mine, these guys are, I think they started in Redlands, my hometown, is Rosa Maria's. This is their first location up here in the high desert. If you've never had one of their burritos, for the love of humanity, you got to get one. They're so good. Wingstop, yeah, they're garbage burritos, yes. Wingstop opened recently.
Back up, where's this, we need an address.
Okay, so it's on Bear Valley.
Next to Dairy Queen.
Yeah, you can't, right next to Dairy Queen.
Yeah.
So,
By the
Dairy,
freeway?
no, just not too far from here.
About 11.
Yeah.
It's about where 11 is.
Yeah. So their garbage burritos are, I mean, deadly.
You'd love it.
Deadly. That's the only way I could describe them. Dairy Queen recently opened. If you guys didn't know, Dairy Queen left the city of Hesperia over a decade ago. So this is their first soiree back into the city of Hesperia. I've had a chance to go over there. The lines are completely obnoxious, but it's a good problem to have. We opened Panera Bread recently, a Golden Chopstick, and a Vegan Burg. And I had the chance to go over there last week.
I did too, and I
And
loved it.
I was so skeptical because I am a carnivore through and through. But I had one of their burgers, and if you didn't tell me it wasn't meat, I would have thought it was.
Yeah, you know, we went there just this last week, and both my husband and I were vegetarian. And I could not believe how good it tastes, and the teriyaki burger, oh my gosh, it was so good.
It's good.
Yeah.
And what really warms my heart to be able to be part of that, but to also see the community respond to it in a really positive way.
Mhm.
So that was awesome. You can see the grand opening. This was maybe about a month ago, and they have been busy every single day. And so they're over at the High Desert Gateway. They were in the old chop shop. So we're expecting big things out of them. And then, of course, Panera Bread. So I will wrap this up with just a flavor from some things that are coming. Popeyes is going to open up off of Ranchero and Fortune over by Fortune Court, I believe it is, right next to our friends at Starbucks. Dutch Brothers is coming to Hesperia. That's another one I heard a lot. And up until maybe about a month ago, I couldn't tell anybody. So if you know where the old China Palace is, right next to Wiener Schnitzel, the China Palace is going away. I know a lot of people like that place. They're going away. And then Starbucks is going in the shopping center on the corner of Maple and Main Street. The interesting thing about this Starbucks, it will be the very first drive-through only Starbucks in the entire high desert. So we have been negotiating with them to get at least some tables and chairs out there just because of its proximity to Hesperia High School. And then Lickin' Fried Chicken, which has some roots over in the city of Victorville, they're going to be opening in the Topaz Shopping Center, pretty close to the 99-cent store that's going away. So that is my quick update. I really hope you guys invite me back because in the next year, we are really on the precipice of some major announcements. So with that, I'm happy to answer any question the trustees have. I appreciate the opportunity to come and speak. Thank you.
Great job, David. Thank you. Does Brett have any questions?
Of course.
Trustee
I have more of an offer. I, as a Redlander also, will go with you to Mama Kuka and try to get a Kuka's up here. I know if you're a Rosa Maria fan, that might not
I
be.
am, but there's a little rivalry
I
between
know.
Kuka's and
So
Rosa Maria.
let's bank on that. Let's
Okay, let's do
all
it.
go.
I'm with you.
I'm
Let's
in.
make it happen.
Anybody else?
Right. I would just say, I would love to have you back. I can
Yeah.
only speak for myself. But instead of waiting for us to invite you back, would you maybe reach out
Sure.
to one of us when you have new and exciting information
Absolutely.
to share?
Absolutely.
Is that okay?
Absolutely. You know, one of the nice things about doing this is, I wouldn't say Hesperia, but the Inland Empire as a whole, whenever you see us in the news, it's never anything good. And there's so much good happening up here in the high desert. My goal is to come here, tell you guys a compelling narrative, and then this audience goes home and tells that compelling narrative, and all of a sudden, all that negativity kind of gets washed away. So thank you for the opportunity, and absolutely, when big things come, I would love to come and share them with you.
Let us know.
Nathan, thanks.
Thank you.
Jamba Juice is going into Hesperia also.
Jamba juice.
Jamba Juice. Next section is Board of Trustee goals, and this month we have Trustee Jennifer Tarpley.
What?
To present. Drive safe, Nathan. See you.
Thank you. So as a board, our role for goal number 2 is to provide our support in all areas affecting student success. That's big for me, personally. One of our objectives for goal number 2 is to receive monthly reports on programs and services in support of student success, so we can not only be aware of the important work going on here at the college, but so that we can also share it with the communities that we represent. Tonight, we will be receiving a report on a pathway MOU with Cal Poly Pomona. Super exciting, a presentation on a baccalaureate program for respiratory therapy. Super excited to hear more about this. It's been in a lot of national community college publications. They're talking about us, which is cool. And also a report on financial aid. As a board, we look forward to learning all the exciting things going on at the college, always. Always, 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 we want to know what's going on. And especially if they support the success of our students. And we are always very proud of the hardworking faculty and the staff that make these things happen.
Thank you. Section 5, Board Communications. At this time, the Board of Trustees will report on matters directly related to their functions as board members, attendance at conferences, professional affiliations, and community involvement. I'd like to start with our student trustee, Jennifer.
I just wanted to take this time to pay my respects to former trustee Henderson and give my condolences to his family, and also acknowledge the work he did on the board in our community and also for our students. I also had the pleasure of getting to know him, especially in Washington, D.C., as we had several highlights there. Thank you.
Trustee Tarpley?
So Kevin and Morley and John Nolan graciously gave my boss and some of the staff from my day job a tour of the Educational Event Center and the stadium. We have something in common in Bernards, and so I wanted to make sure that I hooked up our team for my day job with the team here, just because so much went down with that contractor and that whole thing. So it's a beautiful facility. I cannot wait until it opens.
2 months will be out of here.
It's just stunning, and the college deserves it. I'm just so excited. We did have a special board meeting to go over the protocol for the vacancy, and I do also want to pay my respects to the Henderson family. I'm still a little bit in shock. It's a little surreal sitting here without him next to us. And I did also attend a webinar on trustee roles and us knowing our roles and our place, because we do have a place and we need to know where that place is and not overstep that. And then my 13-year-old is in baseball, and that little league is going strong and taking up all of my time. So that's all I have for you.
Trustee Wood?
Yeah, I want to say the same about Dennis. It came as a big shock when we all got the news. I was sitting up here talking to Sharon a little bit about it quietly before we started the meeting, and I would just say that there's a message there, a lesson, I suppose. Not any one of us in this room expected that we'd be sitting here this month without Dennis down there. I think the lesson or the message is you don't know when your time is up, so get to living. You know what? Like, don't wait. I know Dennis and I would talk a lot. We would tease each other and chip on each other up here, and my mic on?
No, it's fine.
Chip on each other, but it was all in good fun. Dennis and I got along really well. I really liked him. I think he liked me. I don't know. You guys probably know better. Maybe he said things to you. I mean, he'll be missed. Never did it cross my mind that we'd be sitting here this month without him. And so, is anybody out there who's got a thought of, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to see this place, you want to visit these people or reconnect with somebody, do it. Because those people may be gone at any minute, or unfortunately you may be gone at any minute. So Dennis will be missed.
Trustee Pinkerton.
I have a few things that I did for this past month. I want to thank Mackenzie Tarango, Art Lopez, and Artie Allen, and Deanna Berry for showing up for support at Silverado, for the signing up of some of the Silverado students to join our BBC family this next school year. And also on May 3rd, we went to go see Assemblyman Juan Carrillo, who shares the concerns about the number of students in the California Community College system who are not being funded right now under the correct funding formula. So every student matters, and we owe it to them and our community to make sure we are fully funding them. And on Thursday, we went to the Children's Deserved Success Awards luncheon down at San Bernardino Valley Community College. And James Campbell, president of the NAACP, and Jeffrey Hinkle, who was a former BBC graduate from here, both were recognized and got an award there. And Saturday evening, John and I, we went to, along with Robert Sewell and Elizabeth Duarte, we went to Justified Scott's Queendom Awards ceremony. And Our Lady Rams, along with Coach Troy Hall and Coach Rayford Johnson, were recognized for their championship season. And then last Friday, we were invited by David Bagg, president of the Barstow College. We were invited to the book signing and meeting the author Tommy Orange. And he wrote The Wandering Star. And I told you, I think last month, that we were going to Baker Unified School District. And we went there, and we brought some swag with us from BBC. And they got quite a lot going on over there. They're very rural, and obviously they need a lot of help. Barstow has taken a bus and taken a lot of the students over to Barstow to get connected with them. And then a representative from UNLV was there also. So I'm glad that we went, and we might need to do something like that to get them here and get them, to know VVC. And was there one more thing? No, I think that was it. And I also want to say we're really going to miss Dennis. I really got to know him. He's quite a character, but he's got a really warm heart. I know he cared about the students a lot. He'd tell us stories about when he was in the police force, about helping out a lot of juvenile teens. And we got to know him. We were with him there in Washington, D.C., and we had a really good time with him. He walked 10 miles. I couldn't believe it because, he has a hard time getting around, but he really wanted to see everything, so we had a really good time with him. There was one, I just wanted to say one more thing. When I first got on the board, you know, it was COVID at that time, and he said, "I bet you're not going to hug me, are you?" I said, "Wait, just watch this." So I give him a big hug. Kind of blew his mind, but but he loved it. But yeah, we were really going to miss him. And also, I want to thank Dan and his team for really reaching out to the communities in regards to getting somebody on the board here. So, anyways, he's going to be really missed.
Trustee Wood, I think that you said it right. Some people judge their success by their car, their house, or how much money they got, or whatever. I've judged mine by the number of friends I've got. I'm 67 and a half years old. I've got 9 major regrets in life, and all of them have to do with exactly what Trustee Wood said. One of them is my next door neighbor. We have a fellow VVC employee drives by my house every day, the house that we own. I always said to that neighbor, we'll play golf tomorrow, you know? And I was always way too busy trying to make a buck. And one day that neighbor was gone, and I owned his house. So I see his house every day. So I think what Trustee Wood said, and Trustee, believe me, I'm going to ask Tim to give me a snapshot of what you said, because I'm trying to get Deb to spend as much money traveling as she can. Well, we can, because we don't have any kids to leave it to, so I really want to have a good time. It's kind of odd sitting here tonight in a seat that Dennis Henderson afforded me. On February 1st of 2011, I was lucky to pull the straw, and out of 24 people, after 13 motions and a lot of fighting, and Dennis said, quote unquote, "I'm really hungry." No, seriously.
That's funny though.
Joe Raines sat here, Lori was right here, Michael Krause is over there. And he said, if I don't throw my support, he was more concerned about eating. He said, we could be here till breakfast. That's how I got here. Now,
And he stayed
many of
consistent.
you know, Michael Krause is here tonight and John was here. It was not one of Dennis's better decisions, he thought at the time. Dennis took a lot of heat for throwing that third vote. There were a lot of people that were very upset with Dennis. And for the first probably 3 or 4 years, Dennis and I really didn't talk very much. We did not have a very good relationship, and at times it was very testy. And I mean very, very testy. For those of you that have ever been tested by me, you know that I'll take it to the mat. And Dennis and I went to the mat a couple times. But what was kind of funny, and when I was listening to what Trustee Wood said tonight, the morning after Dennis passed, so when we thought something was wrong, and Dr. Dan said, would you go out to his house? That Saturday, and then we finally figured out what it was. Sunday morning, about 7:30, I'm at the treadmill, and I made a phone call to Dennis's wife, Gloria, who none of us, I believe, up here have ever met. And within the first 2 minutes of that conversation, she said to me, Joe, I've never met you, but I'm really glad that you and Dennis put whatever you had on the side. She goes, Dennis would come on home and tell me how proud he was that you guys got along. Wow. I remember the first time I threatened him in Building 55. I mean, threatened him. I put my finger in his throat. So to have the wife tell me that is something that I will forever remember. He brought a lot here. He's the longest standing. I don't think anybody's going to break that record. I don't plan on being here that long. And I want to thank Dennis. I want to thank Gloria. I hope to meet her. I am going to ask publicly tonight for our board to consider naming the public safety building in Apple Valley the Dennis Henderson Public Safety Building. He came from law enforcement. I think it's only appropriate that building be named. I know what the policies are in naming buildings. I know that Barstow just recently went through the process of naming a medical building for Dr. Ted Baca. There was a process to go through, and I believe that everybody on this campus would wholly support it. So I'm going to ask Dr. Walden and his staff to investigate what we need to do that. I can't imagine we're going to have anybody that's going to oppose that. The second thing I'm going to ask for the board to consider, which I think they all will, is I can't think of a better place to play this video of 20 minutes of Dennis-isms. In my family, we used to call them Mary Brady-isms. And when I was telling Deb tonight that we were going to do this, she said, Joe, I got so afraid to do that before we did your mom's service. She goes, I scrapped the idea. But I would like to propose that this be the first thing, Tim, that we display at our first board meeting in July at our new Educational Conference Center. And it's 20 minutes. If you don't want to watch it, then don't come. But if you want to watch it, we're going to have plenty of seats in there. Bring your handkerchiefs, and I think it'll be fun. So hopefully the board will agree with that as well.
I agree.
Thanks. Well, we can't vote. Today we had a meeting with Lee Bennett, Harry Lee Bennett Jr., and the automotive. A lot of the new car owners were there and their service managers. The second one that we did, it was highly successful. I got a real nice text afterwards, and it was very gratifying to see the work. I want to thank our team. Doctor, who am I missing that we had? Mr. Rank was there, Todd was there. Rick was there. Sandy was there. One other that was there. I'm drawing a blank because I'm a little. Who?
Frank and Charlie?
No, not Carolyn. Charlotte Allen. I'm sorry, Charlotte. I'm a little brain dead. Last week I went to the CCLC conference down in San Diego. Good news, bad news. Victor Valley Community College continues to be the college everyone wants to talk about. I had people walk up to me and say, aren't you with VVC, and how are you doing? And I said, well, the secret sauce is with Dr. Dan and the great staff and the 831 employees we have here. Now, the bad news is I think the governor's revised budget probably came out today, and if I were looking down the road, I think that there's going to be a lot of cuts. I think there's got to be some cuts. I don't know where the cuts are going to be, but I think it has an impact on all of us. But the conference is great. I have my notes, and I plan on reporting on them next month. That's it. I just, Dennis, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. And I think, I know you're watching this tonight, and I can't wait to watch this clip in July and hopefully be the first thing that's ever shown on a video screen in that building. And hopefully the board will join me in naming that building. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Dr. Walden. We have Jennifer.
She's part of my thing.
Oh, she is?
But I'm not going to let her go yet.
Okay. You don't want to, okay. You want to go?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all 6 are me. But anyway, we will put that on the agenda for the July board meeting. This is 20 minutes long, and we all got one. I mean, up here, we got one. So bad for you folks out there. If anybody really wants one, we can get you one. They are clips of Dennis, things he said during his monthly board reports. Is that right, Tim? And I want to thank Tim for getting that together, and I want to thank Robert for getting it, making sure it got done, and thank you, Jay, for directing Tim to do it. I had to go through the supervisor. John's not here, but thank you, John, for letting me ask Jay to do this. So anyway, we got it done. And we're just calling them Dennis-isms because I don't think anybody could do it the way he did it. So people talk about, well, which board member am I the closest to? Let me tell you something. I give the board member the relationship they want. If they want to go to dinner, I'll go to dinner. They'll have me at the house, I'll go to their house, whatever. But I had more meals with Dennis than all the rest of you combined.
He had more time.
And I had 66 lunches with Dennis Henderson in the last 5.5 years. And he ordered the same thing every time. We would sit down at Spirit River Cafe, and he would order a raspberry tea. He would order a bowl of chili with onions and cheese. and cornbread. And then he'd say, and to go, I want a cheeseburger with onion rings. And they got to know him really well. And I told him, I said, Dennis, I can order for you. You don't have to. I know exactly what you want. That was really funny about the hungry thing, Joe, because if you ever saw Dennis when there was food around, he just, I don't know, me, when I eat, you could see it, but I don't know, he would gather that food and he would take it out, whatever was left, and I love him for it. We had many, many wonderful conversations, and just, I'd ask him questions, and he got to tell me a lot of things, and I am the one person that can say I got to meet Gloria in person, and it was just actually, I don't know what, 2 or 3 months before he passed, that he came up to the college, and he saw me walking, and he said, "Come over here. I want you to meet my wife." And I thought, really? Because I had not had that privilege, and I didn't know anybody that had. So anyway, she's a very sweet woman. I was actually the one that, when Robert showed me something in the paper that was Dennis L. Henderson, I just thought, well, it's got to be a different Dennis L. Henderson. And so anyway, we kept going and calling, and Joe went by the house, and finally, I kept calling his phone, and finally, Gloria answered, and she said, "Are you trying to reach Dennis?" And I said, "Yes, Gloria, is he okay?" And she said, "Oh, Dennis passed." And so we didn't find out for 2 days after his passing. And then, of course, I called all the trustees individually immediately to let them know. And we made a very effort to, Robert, you wrote a beautiful thing. I don't know what you call it, obituary, epitaph, whatever, but you got that out there on social media, got it in the paper, and really, really appreciate that. I'm going to miss him. I got to go to Spirit River Cafe every so often just to think about it, because I know they're going to wonder, why weren't you here yesterday? Because it was always the Monday before the board meeting that we would go. So great time. What a special moment that was for all the trustees, student trustee, everybody went to Washington, D.C. in February. And really, he was like, the year before, he said, I think we should go to Washington. And I said, and he said this like, I don't know, middle of January, and it was the start of February. And I said, Dennis, that's not the kind of meeting you could just jump on a plane and go to. You got to plan it. And, there's a whole bunch of things. So we made plans, and we went this year, all of us. And Dennis went, and he walked, I don't know, how long did he walk with you guys?
10 miles.
10 miles.
Yeah.
He walked 10 miles, not me, I took an Uber. So he walked 10 miles with them, and,
That's why he eats all the time.
but he did take an Uber back, I will tell you that. And we walked most of the way back. But anyway,
If I could just say this, when you think about what Trustee Wood said, there was a reason all of us went this year. There was a reason that Dennis went this year. I believe deeply in God. And I believe that there's a reason things like that happen. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but, as soon as this thing happened, I said to Deb, there was a reason we all went this year. And I'm glad that he did.
so I'll tell you, I agree with that, and I think that it was just so momentous, and what a memory that we created. I will say one thing about the trip to Washington. Dennis did not like Ethiopian food.
No.
No.
He did not like it. He got sick. I don't think it was that, but he would argue the day is long. It was that Ethiopian food that made
He
him
liked
sick.
it when he was eating it. He didn't like it after.
But
Yeah, he didn't feel
he
good.
would not hurt.
How many of you remember the days of Pan Am?
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
How many of you remember the kind of luggage that people used to carry? Okay. This is no kidding. We're at the Ontario airport, and Deb says to me, I think that's Dennis Henderson. And I walk over there, and he has the most god-ugly suitcases, 3 of them, that you've ever seen in your life. You don't know where he got them.
No
He had
wheels.
never bought another set. They were classic, so.
No wheels. They
They
had no
were
wheels.
classic, they were just a classic, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yellow to the yellow and green, like, oh, God.
It was awesome.
So, I want to thank Michelle for, she took care of Dennis,
Yes.
and he needed
And
help.
Gabby always brought us
And Gabby,
cookies.
Michelle and Gabby took care of Dennis, and thank you both for that, because you did what none of the rest of us could do for him, and we really appreciate it, so.
You ladies
thank
take
you
care
all.
of all of us. You really do.
At this point, I will say ASB goals.
Thank you. All right, I'll go ahead and start with our goals on basic skills such as finances. BSU is hosting a series of workshops. They had one on May 8th from 2 to 3 p.m. And they have a few more coming up on May 16th, May 23rd, and May 30th from 2 to 3 p.m. in the Haas Center. We had the Thriveopoly on April 19th, and it was a great turnout for students. And finally, I wanted to advertise ASB's end of the year fair. It will be on May 31st from 12 to 4 p.m. And we're going to have raft races, a dunk take, and a pie the staff event. And I've come here to ask if someone would like to join here, but there has been a specific call for Dr. Todd Scott.
Oh,
To get pied in the face.
I second that.
Yes, would you like raft races, dunk take, or pie the staff? You would be pied, of course. Or in the dunk take. You're thinking dunk take? Klein Smith, you got that? And my board, my fellow board of trustees.
What day is it? Because I'll be out of town.
It'll be May.
Joe Brady.
Right, then if you're out of town, would you like to sponsor students in their raft races?
I just did 2 scholarships.
Well, you could do another one, of course.
I don't know.
Would you
I
like
got-
to
I gotta
help
talk to the
build the
bosses.
rafts with the students?
I think it's these guys' turns right now.
Right. Any board of trustees?
Is that Memorial Day weekend?
This is not, I don't believe so.
I think
When-
she
when
wants
is
us
it?
to get pied in the face.
What
It's
day
the
is-
weekend after. It's May 31st. That is a Friday. It is the same day as the study-a-thon. We're doing a cohesion with the study-a-thon to try and build a community within our campus and relieve some stress for students. So we just have a nice field day for fun. And that is after Memorial Day weekend. Dunk tank, being pied, raft races.
I can honestly say I'm not in town.
Then I'll turn to my VPs. Is there anyone on the board who'd like to sponsor a VP?
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, what are we sponsoring?
We need
How
more
does that work?
info.
Support them and forcing them to go on a raft and race across the lake.
Like
Possibly a dunk tank.
monetarily or go
Well,
team?
I have Dr. Scott.
There we go.
Okay,
Anyone
now,
else?
wait. Would the sponsorship be to be sure he gets dunked or where he gets dunked?
So we do have the dunk tanks.
We need a
We're
old
just
fashioned.
Conspiracy.
So
Yeah,
could we-
some
so
more.
could we do the dunk tank like with ice?
Can we get him a one piece?
You want ice?
No, if we sponsor it, can we just be sure it's all iced?
We can. Do you think we can ice it, Kleinster?
Oh, you know,
No, I think that would be painful. Let's just do regular water.
This is,
Tap water's
Todd, that
fine.
was stupid.
Well, anyone here, if you're interested.
Art San Joe, how
We
stupid
already
are you?
have some students who are almost done building their rafts, by the way. So we're looking forward to it. I should be out on the lake throwing water at them. So, okay. I hope to hear back from you guys soon
Yeah,
I
text
will,
me about it.
on whether you want to be pied in the dunk tank.
No,
or
thank you.
On a raft.
I will assist with something. We'll talk more later.
Assist with
but I'll-
something.
I'll assist with something.
Okay. And that's all for goals. I'll have more later in ASB.
All right, Kevin, where are you, buddy? Come on.
Trying to
So,
avoid going to the.
There is an
dunk tank.
item on the board. Let me see where it is. So while he gets his slideshow going,
It's the slowest walk ever. The Green Mile even.
this is, Michelle, you know which one it is? Do you know which one it is on the board agenda?
This is the tower.
I know, but what's the company? Oh, I believe it is 12.7. Anyway, this presentation is for that,
I'm just gonna give you like a status of the tower.
So that resolution, I mean, that, if you pass that, it's $48,000 to tear down this tower and to make make it all parking lot. And he's gonna show
Yeah,
you
it'll-
some pictures why that might be a consideration.
Yeah, it'll create.
They
8
had it on
parking
the
lots.
consent agenda and I pulled it off because I'm like, I'm not making that decision. That's the board's decision.
Definitely.
And there are still people living in Spring Valley Lake that remember when that was built.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say they were
believe it.
living in the
I don't even know
tower.
when
I
it
was
was
nervous.
when it was
No, I mean-
erected.
This building was a sales center for Spring Valley Lake. That was the monument.
As long as there's nobody living in the tower.
Yeah, no.
We can't
No,
dislocate
there's no
people.
humans living in the
Okay.
tower.
Other things living in the tower.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tim. Oh, I wish I would have made
Wow.
the writing bigger. So
The
this is the introduction. The VBC tower is facing significant structural challenges that require attention. The structural damage is visibly apparent, and a safety concern. Tim, wait.
Wait, buddy.
So on the picture on the left, you can see the water has gone behind the stucco and the paint.
Yeah.
And if you go on the inside, you can see the rust going through the plywood where the fasteners are rusting out. Underneath on the bottom one, those are two separate pictures on the left. You can see the bird feces down there. And if you look on the very top right, you can see all the birds that live up in there. Tim. Love it, Tim. Current state of the tower. The tower at Victor Valley College shows visible signs of poor conditions and structural instability. Cracks from the foundation connect and continue up the structure on all sides. Vertical and horizontal cracking run throughout the structure. So if you look on the bottom, start on the left one, there's a crack that goes through the entire footing and the foundation, and then it goes up that corner, and it does it on all the way around. It goes up and then it goes up the tower, and we had a really strong wind a little while back, and it blew off the paint that cracked. There was always structural cracks on the tower itself, but this time it opened it up completely. A lot more water was getting into it.
Didn't we just do some work on this like 4 years ago?
I know we had an engineer here when they did Building 23, when they took down all those telephone poles that were like little walkways and stuff. But they had someone come out and say it was okay, to my knowledge.
But we did do a stucco repair and paint.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Tim? Structural weakness. So the VVC tower exhibits significant structural weaknesses and damages, impacting its stability and campus safety. Picture on top left, you can see another area where the water's gotten behind the stucco into the structure. The one on the right, it still has shake shingles on it. I'm sure that was put in when they built the tower. In the picture on the right, on the bottom, you can see that there's a hole in there. We brought one of the guys' drones in, and the Ravens were trying to just take that thing down. As soon as he got up there, they were just dive bombing the drone. So there's ravens and pigeons living inside there, and I can show you what they look like after they get stuck in there in a minute. Tim? So yeah, we maintenance and operation. So after every wind, we go around the structure and pick up all the debris that's fallen off the roof. Prior to this year, we've never been able to get up there to even see what's up there. We do now have a lift that can get up there, and we have a drone, so we can see how bad it is up there. Tim? So this is pretty bad on the inside. This is all the carcasses and poop and all the junk that's stuck in there. The one on the top, so the one on the left is the bottom floor. If you go up the stairs on the right side there, on the left picture, I can only get so far up. I mean, it'd just take the breath out of you in there. And so I took a picture up above me, and there's like 2 feet of feces in the wood, and it's just all pretty bad.
There's stairs that go all the way to the top of it?
I couldn't get past, I went up 3 feet, that was it. It's pretty nasty. Let's see, so the original roofing on the VVC tower has been missing shake shingles, allowing water egress and posing structural risks. The open roof has also allowed birds to occupy, breed, and ultimately expire inside of the tower. Tim? So I don't know if any of your guys' classes need like bird bones or bodies, carcasses to study. There's tons of them. So this is more of the cracking. The one on the left, it continues and then goes up the sides And the one on the right there, you can see it also cracked 360 around the tower. Next. And this is where I make it a little lighter because I didn't want to give this presentation. That's M&O on our new stadium.
Nice.
Puppies next time?
Yeah.
So weather and damage impact. The tower's poor condition is attributed to the weather damage it has endured over the decades, highlighting the urgency for our recommendation to demo. The district has consulted with the outside engineer and was recommended to demo the structure for safety concerns. That's all we get.
grand.
Any questions for
Yeah,
Kevin?
it wasn't much.
Just go back my truck up to it.
I was told John I'd take the dozer and knock it over.
Yeah, I vetoed that.
Seems like a work comp nightmare.
Nah.
I got vetoed, but anyway,
We'll do
you'll
it
see a
after
bill for
dark.
$48,000
So
for taking the tower down, and does that fix this concrete, I mean,
that removes the foundation and the structure.
but then we still have to repair the
Yeah, the asphalt.
asphalt, okay. Thank you.
Any questions?
Just out of curiosity, because we deal with not things like this, but is there an environmental charge in addition to because of all those birds in there? Or is it just a normal, just get rid of it?
On this one, I believe we're just gonna get rid of it.
Yeah, okay. Kind of like getting rid of asbestos, you know, you always gotta get it, yeah. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks.
All right, Chris, oh, it looks like you got a vote, they're voting out there already. Chris, Foundation.
Great evening, everyone. I'm Chris Nunez, representing the foundation this evening. It's a pleasure to be with you all and share some of the great stuff that's happening in the foundation right now. Hang on just a sec. It's got it coming up right now. Okay, next slide, please. So the foundation, of course, we provide many different services here on campus, but one of the big ones, 3 times a year, we have the opportunity to apply for our Campus Grants program. It's where any program, any department on campus can apply for a $2,500, up to a $2,500 grant to help provide a student experience, to provide books or materials to students who wouldn't normally already have them, or of course, improve a process here on campus. This year, for the spring awarding, we were able to break a record and award $42,847 to a record number of applicants that we received. So congratulations, we've got 2 slides of our winners, but you can see the departments that won them and some of the things that they'll be utilized for. Fire tech program will be using it to purchase some new laser kits. Nursing will be acquiring infusion therapy pumps, which are very much like what they'll actually be using in the hospitals on patients. Our Child Development Center was able to use the funds to create an outdoor play area and drama area for the students. So it's a great opportunity to expand our little ones' offerings as well. We go to the next slide, Tim. And then here you can see the balance of things. We've got the library. It's got a new charging station that's going to be going in to make sure students have their batteries charged. And a huge, again, congratulations to our women's basketball team. They'll be receiving funding in order to pay for their championship rings that they so aptly deserve. So congratulations to all of our campus grant winners. And we encourage you all to continue submitting your wonderful applications and the great ideas that you want to accomplish here on campus. Our next offering will be going out for the summer, so keep an eye out for that. In addition to our campus grants, of course, one of the big things that the foundation does here on campus is support our students with scholarships. Right now, actually right before coming over to this room and immediately after, I'll be headed back and we are working on awarding all of our scholarships so we can get notification out to our students here very shortly. But I'm very happy to share, in addition to our scholarships, which are offered on a yearly basis, we also offer endowments where an organization or an individual or philanthropist is able to deposit funds with the VVC Foundation. Those funds are then invested. That way it can provide a scholarship in perpetuity. So our next slide, I'm happy to welcome 2 brand new endowments from somebody who's no stranger to supporting VVC students. We have the Brady family and the Bradco Company's Real Estate Scholarship, and the Joseph W. and Deborah K. Brady Scholarship for Modern Automotive Industry, recently established and will be awarded for the very first time this year to students. So a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. And this all.
I really want to thank my wife. She knows how important this is. There's more to come. We deeply believe in VVC, and I think the way we could show it is, it's easier to put your money where your mouth is. So we got a lot of great kids. I mean, a lot of great students. And Chris, you and Kirsten have been great to deal with, and there's definitely more to come. So we're really looking forward to it.
Well, thank you, and of course we want to thank all of our folks here on campus who contribute not only by of course financially to our scholarships, but by reading our scholarships, writing letters of recommendation. We greatly appreciate it. So thanks for being the example here. Next one. Mark your calendars. If you aren't ready for the best party of the year, get ready because it is coming on June 8th as we celebrate the VVC Foundation's Alumni Hall of Fame and Distinguished Service Awards Gala, hosted at the Hilton Garden Inn. It's literally going to take you across the universe. We'll have entertainment by local artist Miss Natalie Blue, amazing food, decor that's going to knock your socks off. I guarantee you will have never been to an event that looks like this in the high desert. So we're really excited. Again, June 8th. Tickets are available on our website, vvcfoundation.com. We have a great slew of honorees that we're excited to recognize this year and hope that you'll join us. Yes?
I imagine next year is going to be better, right?
I mean, the location next year is definitely going to be elevated, for
incredible.
sure, for sure. Actually, originally, we were, of course, planning on hosting it here, and given some logistical issues, we are rehoming it at the Hilton. But we saved the theme, we saved the decor, the entertainment, and all that there on standby for a ridiculous party next year. So I hope you're all ready. And we'll also be needing to solicit nominees for our honorees. Again, this year we will be recognizing folks for Distinguished Service in Community, Distinguished Service for Education, our President's Award, and of course inducting two folks, one person into our Alumni Hall of Fame, Miss Martha Mendez, and then our Young Alumni Hall of Fame, Miss Chantel Picon. So we're very excited and can't wait for the celebration. Oh, thank you. Love celebrating. And then continuing the celebration on June 11th, we have our scholarship ceremony. So right here in our Performing Arts Center at 9 a.m., we will be recognizing and honoring all of our scholarship recipients and, of course, having our donors come to campus. That way they can meet their recipients and we can celebrate the great work that's been done and all of the work coming ahead to drive success to these students. So please join us June 11th, 9 a.m. in the Performing Arts Center. And there will be refreshments and all kinds of fun stuff. So, and that is during the first week of our extended summer schedule. So by all means, come on. And I believe that's it. Thank you all so much. Unless you have any questions, that's our report. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Amy Azul, we have the next two items for you. You have it for us.
Good evening, Board. I have a few items to pass out. A presentation will be. Thank you. Here we go. So I'm incredibly excited to share this opportunity with the board, more importantly with our students. Victor Valley College with Cal Poly Pomona, with other institutions, Mount SAC and Citrus, got together and we have an MOU. We're excited to share these opportunities we're creating to support our students for their success. Next slide. So it's a NSF grant, $100,000 grant, and it is there are three overarching goals in this grant, and three parts to build our civil engineering pathways to Cal Poly Pomona. Next slide. The first part has to do with the transfer pathway. So it's creating two certificates here for our students. for civil engineering so that they are go straight into Cal Poly Pomona, equipped to be successful in our civil engineering courses. We have 2 courses already built, and we're working on building more. We have this is the largest part of where the funding is going, is to build and create these certificates for our students. Next slide. The other part has to do with creating opportunities for our students to attend a summer bridge program and prepare our students for success in the engineering program at Cal Poly. Next slide. And then the third piece has to do with the faculty learning community, which is a part of building that curriculum to help support the faculty to do the work and give them the space of intensive time to create these courses and these certificates and resources for our students. So what I have passed out is some documents that were presented at the most recent events. Next slide. There were 2 events that we had in the last month. One was the Cal Poly representative met with the counselors to talk with them, answer any questions that they had about the Pathway program, and then the second event met with the students and they shared these different, the Bridge summer program for our students, and then of course their literature for Cal Poly Pomona. They also shared the scholarship information, so this is just an example of the great resources that we're working to increase student success here at Victor Valley College and prepare our students for engineering, adding that E in STEM, making it strong. And that is all. Any questions?
Just a comment. I slid into Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and always felt really bad for those students in architecture and engineering. So they didn't have the social life I did. It's a great school. I mean, if you have an engineering degree from Cal Poly, you can write a ticket wherever you want. So
I'm an alumni too, so not engineering.
We only call San Luis the real Cal Poly.
No.
Okay, our next presentation.
Oh, I forgot to share. We have this MOU the signed MOU for Cal Poly.
Oh, cool.
That Dr. Walden signed.
That is fancy.
This is big. I mean, this is huge. I mean, it's.
So both the president and myself signed that.
Yes. So, should have demonstrated that as I was speaking. All
Can
right.
you pass it down, let them look
Sure.
at it?
Yeah. All right, and I have another presentation, another exciting opportunity. Thanks, Trustee Tarpley, for teeing it up earlier. If you haven't heard, Victor Valley College was approved for a bachelor's degree, to offer a bachelor's degree in respiratory care therapy. Next slide.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so. So obviously during the coronavirus crisis, it emphasized the importance of respiratory therapists. And in fact, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics stated that the employment rate is expected to grow by 14% between 2021 and 2031 for respiratory therapy. Next slide. So thus, creates our need for the bachelor's degree. So we've done our research, and we presented our findings, and it conferred that that bachelor's degrees in respiratory therapy will be essential and necessary, and a necessary level of training for our respiratory therapists. So we have listed the different topics that will be covered in this degree. Also, COARC and ARC, which are the certifying bodies, the accrediting bodies for respiratory therapy, also affirmed that a bachelor's degree is needed for respiratory therapy by 2030. Next slide. So on March 7th, I gave away the thesis there, but March 7th, we received approval to offer the bachelor's degree program. So we are one of 6 new bachelor's degree programs recently approved by the Chancellor's Office. Soon to be available in the system. So 39 of the colleges in the system offer bachelor's degrees, so we are one of them now, or will be very soon. Next slide. So kind of the nuts and bolts here. So we have an expected launch of 2025. So as early as spring 25, as late as fall. Sometimes, students want to know the cost of that. So it'll come out to about $130 per upper division unit. Next slide. Criteria for acceptance. So our students will need to have already had their associate's degree in respiratory therapy from a regionally accredited institution, completed their lower education general ed courses, and hold their registered respiratory therapist credentials. So those are the entrance requirements. Next slide. It's cohort-based like our associate's degree program. We will start with 26 per cohort per year. I hope to build that. But our goal will be to hopefully double that at least, and then beyond. And these are kind of the curriculum components within the first and the second year there. Next slide. And we're here to support. We're working out all the fine details right now. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. We'd be happy to answer those questions for you. So exciting.
Exciting stuff. Very exciting. Thanks, Amy.
So we will be going after more bachelor's degrees. So
Yes,
this
please.
is our first.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of that. That was
BSN.
one of my aspirations.
We are working on that.
I think we remember when you were promoted and the great things that Dr. Walden said you were going to do.
Thank you.
Well, she's soon to be Dr. Asul, very soon.
Thank you.
All right. Sybil, our financial aid director,
Good
has a
evening,
presentation
guys.
tonight.
I know 2 things today. Right now, I am not talking about feces, so that's good, right? And I probably won't be as energetic as Chris, who's great at presenting. So I'll wait for Tim to put the presentation up. But I'll take this time to say for Trustee Brady and Trustee Wood, I appreciate just the reminder of how precious life is and to take the time. I think sometimes it's easy to get sucked up into work and other things, and then before you know it, time has passed. So, all right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the Office of Financial Aid and how things have been going. Next slide. So we have some current department initiatives. Obviously, we're heavily involved in the implementation of Colleague SAS, and that's taking some time to do the setup and everything like that. So that's definitely a large initiative for us that's taking a lot of time. We are also implementing an online tool for satisfactory academic progress, which will be a tool that students can use to learn a little bit more about how they can maintain their financial aid once they get that, and also be proactive about making sure that students are aware if they get into certain statuses like awarding status, what that means for them, that kind of thing. Also, we are still, and we always do, assist students to fill out their FAFSA. In particular, I'm sure you guys have heard about all the stuff that's happened with the 24-25 FAFSA rollout from the Department of Ed. So we are going to work to catch up with FAFSAs and make sure that students are able to get that completed. For a while there, which I'll talk about later, there were Department of Ed issues. System was down. It was very difficult for students to do that process. We are also moving to implementation of Campus Logic student forms. So unfortunately, I tried the rollout of using colleagues' version of submitting documents online, and it wasn't really as efficient as I would like it for the students. And so luckily and graciously, the president and the cabinet had approved for us to move to Campus Logic. So this is much more efficient, kind of like the Cadillac of submitting documents. It will allow us to text students. It will allow students to submit documents electronically, which we always did have, but there's also smart logic in there. So it's not going to present stuff to the student that doesn't apply to them. So we hope that'll move students through the process much quicker. A couple of things have come up since I made this presentation. One was a reminder of what we just talked about. I'll be working with academics and Amy Azul to make sure that we contact the Department of Education for a level of offering change from the associate's degree to the bachelor's degree, so that we can make sure that the financial aid can be set up for that program in time for the implementation. And then some of you who've been around a while might have heard about gainful employment when it comes to financial aid. It's kind of been on the books, run through court. A lot of people disagreed with it, so it was put on hold, and it was brought back. And so anyway, it's coming back. And so again, I'll work with academics and probably institutional effectiveness to make sure that we roll out the requirements for that, which is basically just to report, what the program cost is, what's the average debt students have when they go to the program, what's the average rate of pay that they make when they get out. In general, the Department of Education is trying to make sure that whatever students borrow, they can make a living wage to pay it off later if that should be the case. Next slide. So FAFSA simplification, we call it FAFSA unsimplification in the Director of Financial Aid world. So in general, there were some really good things about it. It reduced the number of questions to something like 108 to 36. So, that's very drastic. And that was meant to streamline the process and help more students get through with FAFSA. It also is expected to expand access to the Pell Grant using different formulas for calculating need eligibility and also family definitions. So we haven't began packaging yet, but we will soon because, again, we're moving to SAS. So all of that new stuff, along with the new system, has kind of changed our direction. Some of the challenges, just so you have an idea, is FAFSA was expected to open in December, which was normally October 1st. So that was a delay. Once the system was set up, it was constantly down for maintenance, so you'd have to, roll the dice and see if you were going to get in that day. So that was really frustrating for students. And this is across the nation, of course, it isn't just the VBC. FAFSA records didn't even get released to schools until late March so that we could actually look at what was out there from the students who had submitted, and normally we have that beginning in October. And then because of legal issues related to adjusting for cost of living, the FAFSA's calculation was wrong, so they had to fix all that, and students were not even able to make changes until recently. So it's been a little bit of a rocky road. And so hopefully we can get back on track with that and start moving along. So that's kind of where we are with FAFSA simplification. You've also probably heard that across the nation, a lot of schools are suffering from this. FAFSA completion is down, and in particular with universities and private schools that give scholarships, they've been unable to determine, who can have a scholarship at this time. It has impacted their recruitment schedules, so a lot of people are suffering from this. Next slide, please. All right. So just in case you haven't known, these are options that the Office of Financial Aid and my team, and some of which are here today, use to assist students. We do FAFSA completion workshops, and we never went back to just in person, so we continue to do them virtually for students that don't live in the area or it would be easier for them. And we do in-person ones several times a month. We also have started a process or a project where I'm going to, and my team will make outreach connections to all the schools in the surrounding areas to let them know, hey, we can come out to you, just let us know when we can come, rather than them having to seek us out, because we are there to support them and we can go to the high schools. So just trying to build that connection with them. We obviously are in the One Stop Monday through Friday for walk-ins. We also have, in this past year, created a walk-ins where the students can meet with what we would call a senior specialist. So if you have more of a expanded explanation for your family, or something that's more in-depth than a front counter might handle, then they can meet with their senior specialist to talk about documentation to submit, what their family situation is, and we can determine how to better help them. We also have liaisons for some of the high-touch populations and or more unique programs. So we have a homeless youth liaison, a foster youth liaison. Those liaisons are expected to assist these students with the financial aid process, because they often fall through the cracks and get lost because they don't have parents to submit on the FAFSA. Therefore, they can't really add their parents, their FAFSA rejects. So this helps to walk them through the process and give them some priority, because they are also receiving priority registration. We also have added a liaison for VA, because VA is a little bit different too and unique. And then of course athletics, just so that we can make sure that those students are here, can get their financial aid to pay for their enrollment fees or tuition. And then of course we always do by appointments as needed. Next slide. All right, so let's talk a little bit about students served in the One Stop. I tried to provide you kind of a 3-year span of the total number of students served. So this year, we've seen 17,824
Wow.
students at our counter. Of course, that's an increase over the prior 2 years. Some of that could very well be more students, right? Enrollment growth, that helps. Students completing their FAFSA to graduate, that also causes, more students, which is a great thing. And then possibly just some of the challenges we had when we rolled out the colleague version of trying to submit documents. The number of students that return is somewhere about 60%. I put a star there because I'm not sure if the returning is because of a lack of communication or something on my side and, on the financial aid side, that we could be doing better to ensure that students don't have to come back. Are we not answering all the questions initially? Do we not have stuff on the website? Is something not clear? That kind of thing. This is an average wait time, so remember during fall, we are very busy, so it looks not so great, but students are generally averaging about 22 minutes while they're waiting over the entire year. And then while they're being served, it's about a 10-minute time at the window on average to answer those questions when they do get up there. Next slide. One of the things that we implemented this year, we've always had a book voucher program, and they would do it in the bookstore. As you guys know, the bookstore is online now, and so that's changed the process a little bit. So we formally introduced for spring 2024 a book voucher program where students who had a Pell Grant could take an advance on that Pell Grant in order to buy their books. And so we opened this program up about a month before the term starts so that they can prepare and get ready and use their Pell in advance to purchase their books. We granted 555 vouchers during the spring term, but obviously my team probably reviewed maybe upwards of 700 or more just to ensure, because not everyone has a Pell Grant and they submitted it anyway, or they are in an enrollment level in which they wouldn't have enough funds to use their Pell Grant. Overall, we granted $274,430 in advancements to students prior to and during the term so that they could assist them with their book costs. Next slide. FAFSA records. So this is again a comparison over several years. As we talked about, there are some challenges with 24-25. But so far to date, we have 7,570 in to the new system. Last year, this is for 24-25, the first one. Currently, we're at 20,926, which is a 13% increase over the prior year at 18,562, and then 2021 was roughly the same. Same date to same date from last year. We are down a little bit. Again, that's to be expected with all the challenges with FAFSA, but from what I'm hearing and what I'm reading, it's not down as much as some of the schools are. So I'm proud to see that, and hopefully we can bring that back up and get students going again. Next slide. Here's just an overview of our aid to students. We did a variety of aid, but this here is just pretty much federal. So You can see over the last 3 years, 2021, 2022, our Pell Grant dispersed to students was 17,000. So far, or 17 million, and so far this year is up to 27 million, and we're not done yet. So the good news is that's probably attributed to the growth in students. Hopefully, it's attributed to more students being able to get through the process to submit their documents to get awarded. Also, again, the Pell Grant amount goes up every year, so I'm sure there's a little bit of that. And so we're happy to see that. I believe that some of these numbers are tied to our SCIF funding, so the more Pell Grant we get out is part of that calculation. So we're contributing in that way. You can see that the number of recipients year to year has also increased, so that's good. We have dispersed so far to date about $1 million in the federal supplemental education opportunity grant to 3,240 students. We have just under $500,000 that we have in work study. So the change in the amount from year to year isn't necessarily because we couldn't spend it. It's just that every year our allocation is a little bit different. And in 2022-23, it went down for all the schools because of COVID. So we all got a little bit of a lesser amount. This year, it's much higher than this, so we'll be able to have more students working than we had. Currently, we have 115 students hired, but 82 are actively working. A while back, when the allocation dropped, we moved away from off-campus jobs and kept them all on campus so that the funding that we did have could support the campus and the students here directly. That's to be determined if we decide to expand that outside again, but so far we don't have any trouble getting students to work here and spending all of our money. And then of course, loans. So loans has continued to increase each year, roughly 30%. This 23-24 number was prior to the spring disbursement, which is going out, which is a couple $100,000 and 70-some students. So we're still, seeing an increase on that year after year. Next slide.
Sybil?
Yes.
So it was my understanding that our policy here was to discourage the loans. So that students in a two-year college are sort of advised against getting loans.
Yes.
How do we practice that?
So one of the things that we do, it is not something that we put on the website prevalently to discuss, for aid that students can receive here. Another thing is that students have to do what you would call an affirmative request. So that means that they have to come in, fill out paperwork. Every single student goes through a loan counseling process with our loan coordinator, who has them write down a budget, the cost of enrollment, what other money they have bringing in. And in a lot of cases, the students are able to see, hey, I don't really need that money. I mean, it'd be nice to have it, but I don't need it. And then we also share with them that whatever you're taking here, you're not going to be able to take at the university when you transfer. And in a lot of cases, they're not getting some of the funding here, like Cal Grant in the same levels that they're getting at the community college. So you're gonna need that money when you get to the university. So those are the things that we do. Every single person is running through and individually having a counseling appointment to decide if that's something that they really need to do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next slide. So tied to loans is our cohort default rate. It's a 3-year period that they calculate, and obviously it's several years back. So far, 3 years, it's kind of up and down. We'll see what it goes. Obviously, the more borrowers we have to the amount in default, the numerator and the denominator change, and then the percentage changes. We are pretty much above the average nationwide, so that's a little bit of a concern. Anytime that you have 15% or more, and any one of those 3 years, which we do, we are required to take additional steps when we disperse loans. So we can't disperse it. If you're a first-time borrower, you can't have it right away. You need to wait at least 30 days. If you are only getting a loan for one term, it's divided half the disbursement in the beginning, half towards the end. So unfortunately, we fall into some of those, for lack of a better word, sanctions, I guess, but requirements, because our default rate is relatively high, or it's sort of high in one of the years, over 15%. We can go up to 30, we will hopefully never go up to 30, but we will go up to 30, and then sanctions start to come out from the Department of Education about how we will run our loan program.
Let's don't get to 30.
Yeah, we don't want to get to 30, but some of that is, you know, the less people you bring in, again, that denominator is different.
Right.
And so the more that flip into default, if you don't have very many borrowers, that percentage is going to appear higher. So it's kind of a catch-22. Next slide. And that's all I have for you guys today. Do you have any questions for me?
So I remember when I applied for FAFSA, you know, I was denied because I'm full-time employed. And it automatically took me to the federal student loan portion on the FAFSA website. So I think that occurs probably for our students as well,
Right.
I would
so,
imagine.
Yeah, at the end of the FAFSA, they're given an estimate of
Yes.
aid, and it does show the loans. When they come to the counter, again, we are you know, trying to graciously persuade them away from that. But I mean, it's something that's there, and so if they do see it and they do specifically ask, we will have them do that one-on-one counseling to determine. But that does happen still.
Yeah, okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask.
Any other questions?
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the
You
time.
guys are hardworking. Thank you so much.
I'm going to suggest we take a 10-minute technology break.
I was just gonna lean over and say, I gotta go, man. Right. Can we do it now, please?
Yeah, so it said 40
I feel old. Actually, I
You
was-
what?
Oh, my God. Wait till you get to our age. And you'll really feel it.
I mean, it's not.
President's comments are
in
next.
there.
Oh, you're done?
I know, right? That's one of the reasons.
We're at number 7 now. I made my comments at the beginning.
Do I have anybody from the Academic Senate here tonight?
No,
Do I have anybody from AFT part-time?
no.
Do I have anybody from ASB?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Jen's here.
No.
Wait, I have updates still.
No ASB.
So the talent show was April 26th. It was a standing room only. It was also a fundraiser for clubs, and it was an overwhelmingly amount of support and success that we were encouraged to use the big stage in the pack next time we do it.
Cool.
On top of that, I was part of the Our Health, Our High Desert campaign that launched this past couple months. So you might have seen me on some billboards or on some commercials. On top of that, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is May 17th. That's for the date we're celebrating it with ASB. It's from 4 to 8:30 p.m. out front of the SAC. You can find flyers in the back. And then we have the Film Festival viewing ceremony, which will also be May 17th in the pack at 4:30 p.m. You can also find flyers in the back. That's when we'll announce winners. The study-a-thon is May 31st. Lunch is from 11:30 to 4 p.m. We'll have games and activities. And the whole learning session is from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, that is the day for the end of the year fair. Have any of the Board of Trustees had enough time to think about it? Don't think?
No.
All right. So it looks like
No.
Dr. Todd Scott will take the stage for that.
You're repping for us, bro.
And then we have the adult education graduation on May 31st, 1 p.m. in the gym. On top of that, ASB elections for next year's council are currently ongoing, so we're receiving applications right now. They will be campaigning as soon as they turn them in this week, and then we'll have elections at the end of this month. So we are looking forward to that, where I can announce next year's council, hopefully at next month's board meeting. On top of that, this just came in like a few hours ago. It's from San Bernardino Valley College. I went ahead and met with them in San Jose. This was directly for myself, my Vice President Herrera, and Senator Reyes there in the back. We met them in San Jose, and this was a letter thanking us for supporting them and representing our college well. It's a really long letter, so I won't read it out to you, but I just wanted to say that this definitely shows that our advocacy here at the college does reach our community beyond our college. And we really made an impact in San Bernardino Valley College with the letter they received, or I received today. Thank you.
So
That is all.
proud of you.
I was actually asking Dr. Walden if you could run again. He said, no, soon you'll be a Bruin, so. we're gonna
Yeah.
miss you, obviously. CSEA,
Yes.
thank you for being here.
Pablo. Good guy.
Hello.
Greetings, everybody. Hello, Dr. Walden, Board of Trustees. My name is Pablo Saldaña. I'm the first vice president to our CSEA e-board. Our president couldn't make it today, so I have just a message from the e-board and from Audrey as well that I'll be reading. So as you know, the 3rd of May, which is next week, is a Classified School Employees Week. That is a week when we recognize the hard work of our fellow classified professionals. This year's theme is Empowering Generations. Classified professionals have earned the respect as educators and partners to the educational community and sphere. More importantly, they become recognized as essential frontline workers for our communities to keep us running and also making a difference in the life of students that we serve. In honor of Classified School Employees Week, our events committee has been working really hard in putting together some events to show our appreciation to the classified professionals here at Victor Valley College. This week, that's the week that we will take some time to just celebrate the hard work that we do serving students, faculty, management, and each other just throughout the year. We appreciate all of the donations and the support that we have received from Dr. Walden, the management team, the foundation, and also Schools First Credit Union. Your donations really do help us provide a lot of support and celebrating our classified during that week. We also want to appreciate the resolution that will be presented later tonight that states that the board wishes to recognize and honor classified school employee week and all classified professionals in CSEA Chapter 584 for the outstanding work to VVC and its students. So that is all from me. Thank you, thank you.
Pablo, if I could ask you a question. In the past, many years ago, they used to invite the board to a lunch on Friday. Do they no longer do that anymore?
Well, it's not on the books that,
No, they used
that
to.
week, but we can definitely bring it up. We would love to. We would love to. And
Well, they used to invite the board down
Yeah.
to come and try to get some of us to come down and have lunch, and it was
I
usually
mean,
on a
if y'all
Friday.
are, Friday we are having lunch. If y'all are well or have time, it'll be in the lower campus by the parking lot queue, which is where the farmers market takes place. So if y'all have time, we would love to have you stop by.
What time is that?
It's gonna be between 11 and 1 p.m. 11:30, 1:30.
Okay, great, yeah.
Yeah.
I personally always enjoyed it.
Yeah, please come.
That was at the
Yeah,
time
any
where
of
we
you.
didn't all get along very well. It was always nice going and just breaking bread.
Yes, please.
Great.
All right. Thank you. Any more questions?
Thank you.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
CTA? No. Nope. Management?
Yes.
We have a volunteer back here. Wow. Oh, you got two.
Yes, yes, too. Good evening, everyone, audience and Board of Trustees. I am Carmen Catfield, the Interim Director for Nursing and Allied Health. Now with me, graduating student, pretty soon will be registered nurse.
Hi, good evening. My name is Margaret Standish.
Congratulations, you made it.
Yes.
Beyond.
We have a small presentation, just updates about nursing program. First, I want to start by saying thank you for all your guys' support. Our nursing program is been established back in early 70s. Well, started with the LVN program first and then registered nursing program. And we have a great respect in the community, and we're really happy to be part of Victor Valley Community College, of course. Last week, we celebrated Nurses Week. It was the whole week, and I appreciate all the support of the departments. They came and visit our nursing department, including Dr. Scott. Personally was there representing all the management because you guys were all tied up with other responsibilities. And today I'm just going to go over a couple slides and a few information, and then we will like to constantly bring some information about nursing program and our achievements. Next slide, please. Oh, you have a clicker? We have a clicker. There we go. Okay, so just quick updates. As of now, since last year, we had over 184 students applied and actually went through our program. Graduation rate is 89 to 96%. And all our students have to go through the NCLEX, which is the National Council or Licensure Examination for all the nurses, before they actually can practice as a registered nurses. And historically, our passing grades were 95 to 100%. Last three quarters were 100%. And they get employment upon graduation, all 100%. We have no graduate that has no employment when they graduate nursing program. It's a great achievement, I think, right? Student demographics, I'm really pleased to announce, as we all know, nursing is a female-driven profession, but we were able to actually increase our male population as a nurses. So since 2018, that's all the data. I could go actually that far and get some information. So we started at 7 to 8% male students, and now we're at over 20%. So we're also really excited about that because we do our informational sessions, we go out to the communities, we encourage them, we give examples, and we attract more male students to the nursing program, which is absolutely amazing. Next, please. So I also wanted to update you. I just got this a couple days ago, 2024 best ranked nursing programs in California. We're number 12. And this is including bachelor's, associate degrees, community colleges, and private colleges.
That's
so
so
I
cool.
think it's amazing achievement. We're number 12. And when they do ranked, they go by passing grades, employment opportunities, graduation percentages. So historically, we stand like very solid at 97.05% of graduation rates. And again, in nationwide, the whole United States, we're number 45. That includes master's program, bachelor's program, and ADN programs. So we're doing great, and we have a great program here. Next, please. So I'm also pleased to announce that we were granted the nursing apprenticeship program, and it was close to $900,000. So what that means, for 60 students or more, we can completely support them and waive all the fees. So we started the first 29 students this last cohort, and we're gonna get 31 more students or 32 students. I think they have more funds available. So they're gonna fund it 100%. They have no fees to pay for the nursing program. Everything is paid for throughout the whole program, all 4 semesters. So that's a great achievement, and we're really happy for everyone who worked hard to get this apprenticeship grants for us.
That includes material fees too, right?
Yes, absolutely. And also the NCLEX fees. When they graduate,
Oh, wow.
the NCLEX fees will be paid for, which is very expensive. I think it's over $400 per student. So that's a very
You'd be pleased
good.
to know that the governor, in his May revise, left the money in there for the nurses.
Yes, absolutely. We
Let's
take
read
it.
that.
So this is actually part of the first cohort that they received the sponsorship, and they're now in nursing process 1. So for the next 3 semesters, they also will be all covered, so all 29 students of them. This is part of also the cohort that we had agreement with hospitals up here, Victor Valley Hospital, St. Mary's, and Desert Valley Hospital. So they also, the students on this program also guarantee employment upon graduation. So it's kind of a win-win deal for students and for us. Besides apprenticeships, we also have special programs that will support our students to go to conferences, workshops, conventions, and the reason I have Margaret with me today, because she's going to share some experiences she experienced, I guess, or had experienced when she visited the convention just a few weeks ago, or last month in April. It's for CNSA, California Nursing Student Association. So she'll take the microphone.
Good evening, trust board, the board. I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
Just relax. We're all really nice people.
Yeah. My name is Margaret Sandish. I'm the president of the California Nursing Association of Victor Valley College. I'm currently the president. And I was able to be the beneficiary of the support from the foundation in the nursing program to attend the 72nd NSNA convention, which is the National Nursing Convention. During this convention, forgive my looks, but I had a clinical day before taking the red eye to go to Florida. Yes, we achieved in this program. And I'm pleased to inform that even though we were tired, in a casual setting, we're testing our knowledge, we use something that's Kahoots. It was about like 40 to 45 students where we were competing. My ASB liaison, Randy Salzer, went with me to this convention. And he ended up first, I ended up second on the spot, testing our knowledge with other programs. During these conventions, we were able to see aspects of nursing in other states, legislation that affects like our nursing practice or scope, specialties, and the importance about getting certified in our areas of practice, like trauma, ICU, neuro-ICU, things that are outside of our region here in the desert, but they're important. That way, when we further our education, we always can come back to the desert to be better, more fit nurses in the future. Some of the important trainings that we got was attending the neuro assessment. This talk was given by a neuro-ICU nurse from Phoenix, Arizona, and we received hands-on training for prevention of opioid overdose in the field, and got informed about important language that we should be modifying and implementing in our practice. It was just an overall overwhelming experience about how to improve the quality of the student and bring this back home. I'm also very happy to inform that with the collaboration of a project that I entered with Professor Padfield, Professor Gray, I was able to bring home to Victor Valley College an award given in the National Convention for Disaster Preparedness. So we are awarded nationally in the category of school regarding our disaster preparedness program in a multi-disaster day. This program is something that goes on every semester. It's something that gets implemented. And through my journey as a leader in CNSA, I was able to enter this category. So we put together the data and we submitted it. I'm happy to inform you that we're going against bachelor programs, New York, Georgia, Texas, all these big bachelor programs that have a lot of backbone, a lot of funding. And this small school from the desert that is an ADM program has stood out to the level of these programs that have a lot of support. We have people in this convention from Hawaii. So if you look at the picture that's on the left, the two members to the left of myself over there, they're from Hawaii University. They stand in state level. And to the right is myself and my ASB liaison, Randy Saucer. And we are taking the award for school. So in the nation, when you need disaster preparedness, you can attend to the new nurses in this program. So it's my pleasure to be able to bring this award to this school.
Before I announce that our pinning ceremony is on June 6th at 6 p.m., I send you guys email with the location and time. I also want to say that we working to get accreditation through ASIN for our nursing program so we can be eligible to apply as a pilot program to get a BSN.
Woo, woo, woo.
So we'll keep you updated as soon as we get more updates. So that's the goal. Thank you very much. I think this is completes my presentation.
So
Any
not
questions?
the same place as it usually is in Victorville?
No, it's in Victorville because I guess high school graduations took over and they're reserved we always go to the High Desert Church like 2 years ago. So we're kind of a little bit late. We were planning to do in our beautiful building, but it was a little bit delayed with the construction. So this is Plan B.
So Hesperia.
The Hesperia, yeah, Victor Valley Christian Church, it's where we're going to be this time. So just want to let you know, guys, parking is small, so carpool if you can. So you don't have to park on the dirt. Sorry, it's just a small parking lot that they have. But it's a beautiful church. So we'll have a beautiful ceremony once again. So please come and join us.
Just roughly, let's say the last 2 years, of the graduates that we have, how many of them are staying here in the High Desert? What percentage would you say?
Over 80%.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
That's
Fantastic.
perfect. That's,
The only-
wow, that's,
Mostly students, they drive back down if they came from down the hill to attend our program for some reason. They go back to home.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Especially if they live with parents or they have children, family, Rancho. I think the farthest student we had, it was from Temecula.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they came to our program. But over 80% stay here locally in High
that's
Desert.
great. That's just,
Yeah.
yes.
Very great, yeah.
Congratulations.
Any other questions?
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine, have been approved by the President Superintendent under Board Policy 2430. There'll be no separate discussion on these items prior to the time the board votes on them unless a board member requests a specific item to be removed from the consent agenda for discussion and a separate vote. Public comment on the consent items from anyone completing a card will be heard prior to the board's vote on the consent agenda. Public comment, announcement related to consent agenda items. The complete written request to address the board shall be submitted before the beginning of the open session portion of the meeting. This is the opportunity for the public to address the board on any consent agenda items. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual, a total of 15 minutes per topic. Speakers will be timed electronically, and all speakers will be called to the podium to speak at the appropriate time to address the board. Only those who have been recognized by the board president will be permitted to speak under Board Policy 2350. Do we have anybody tonight? No? I need a motion for the approval of consent agenda items.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Wood and a second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yeah. Ooh, that was fast this time.
I did. Oh. I thought I did. That's senior moment. I think you did. There you go. Great. Action agenda. The complete written request to address the board shall be submitted at the beginning of the open session portion of the meeting. Individuals who want to comment on action items may do so after being recognized by the board president before board discussion of a particular item during the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual, a total of 15 minutes per topic. Speakers will be timed electronically, and all speakers will be called on at the appropriate time to speak. Only those that have been recognized by the board president will be permitted to speak under board policy 2350. Under item 10.2, student trustee privileges, board
Motion.
policy 2015. Do I have a
Motion.
motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee Pinkerton. Student trustee?
Actually, I have some discussion on this.
Sure.
So on this, we have listed 5 privileges to approve, but only 2, 4, and 5 are up for approval tonight. I'll go ahead. I'll start with number 1, the motions and seconds. I talked to Dr. Walden about this, and the issue we have is why we don't approve it is because Board Docs doesn't officially recognize me. So we talked about possibly amending, seeing if a board member would like to amend it to state that if or when Board Docs allows the input of a student trustee, to allow the student trustee to make motions and seconds,
Absolutely.
if
I'll motion
possible.
that.
So that's an amendment.
We have to
It would
make
be an
amendment.
amendment, correct?
But you can make a motion, you make a second, your vote just doesn't count, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I just want to be sure that.
So this is specifically with motions and seconds. So
Correct, yeah.
currently, it's a privilege that student trustees can have if granted by the board. After discussion with Dr. Walden, the reason we don't do it is because I'm not officially recognized by the board docs, what we use for our board.
And we ran into that problem like 5 years ago
Correct.
when we first went to board docs.
So instead of having it be approval and I can't make motions even though I have it, have an amendment saying if we do come into contact with a board docs that does now have the student trustee recognize that I will have the privilege when it happens, so you don't
Yeah,
have to
I
have
think
it
we
all
don't
the way on
support
there.
that.
You won't, you'll be gone.
Yes, it wouldn't be for me. None of what this approved would be for me. It would be for the next trustees.
Right.
Well, you know,
I do- I
the new
do-
stuff comes in July. Did you know that?
So,
Do you know?
so I believe she has other items,
I
but.
do.
So this amendment would need to be voted on and passed, and then she can go to her next amendment.
Second, Jen's motion.
Okay, so trustee Tarpley made a motion on student trustees' motion and a second by trustee Wood.
All right. So then the next one I wanted.
Oh, wait,
No, we have to vote on that.
We got to vote.
Are we doing a
Yeah,
verbal?
so do we have a,
Just to vote on the amendment
You
only.
got it. Then yes from student trustee
Okay.
universe.
Well, yes.
do you want to just do a verbal or,
Let me just get it in writing.
okay?
What is the
Well,
second?
we need to include it all as one motion because there will be one final resolution. So if we're doing more than one thing, it all needs to happen.
Okay, well,
Yeah, okay.
she's got more amendment.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the next thing I wanted to touch on after looking at the document.
So let's do this correctly. Go ahead and do a voice vote on the amendment.
Yes.
And then you can move on.
Voice vote is yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion moves.
Okay. Next one.
Yep.
So the next one I wanted to recognize would be the second one on there. It wasn't on here when I saw it, only the ed code was, but approved on July 21st, 2023 was Assembly Bill 1541, which would make the advisory vote mandatory on here. It's no longer optional for all community colleges, and I just wanted to say thank you. I know we've already recognized that. We've been doing it for a while, but I also wanted to recognize that it's now mandatory for all community colleges as well.
And I would say this, at the CCLC conference, it was interesting to see how many didn't have that, but then it was funny, there was one college, I won't say who it was, they hadn't had a clue.
You should tell us who it
The
is.
trustees were sitting there, had no clue of what the law was, and they were looking at each other, and I kind of felt really bad. Kind of reminded me of 12 years ago when I first went, you know?
Yeah. And then the next and final thing I wanted to point out was in number 4, the stipend of $600 per semester. So that currently would mean the student trustee gets $100 a semester. According to like the ed codes, $100 a semester falls into a community college district with 1,000 FTEs or less. And the total amount of community college with 1,000 FTEs could make is $120. For a college with between 1,000 and 10,000 FTEs, the total amount a student trustee could make is $240. We are beyond that, and we're now between the brackets of 10,000 and 25,000 FTEs, which means a total amount a student trustee could make is $400 per month. So even with this being passed right now, or any student trustee beyond here would be compensated significantly less than where we are at currently.
I'll make a motion that we bring it up to the code.
Well, and
No, if
do we
did-
want to do
if we
both
go-
amendments with that
Are you
motion,
talking about
Brandon?
if we brought up to the code, we'd be going backwards?
No,
Correct?
what she's suggesting is that, starting with the next student trustee, this wouldn't affect her, but there'd be $400 a month instead of the $100 a month she gets now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and, but
I
also bring our resolution or our whatever up to code for
Absolutely.
Yes.
the mandatory
Right.
student advisory
Yes.
vote.
Well, my motion was about the pay. The pay should be tied to the FTES. So we should probably honestly change 4 to read in accordance with, in
Well,
accordance with
it-
the
because
law,
the-
and then have the pay
No.
scales
The
out.
law,
Brandon, it doesn't, I mean, trustee Wood, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
The code doesn't stipulate how much
dare
it
you.
says. It says you may, so you still, just like yourself,
Okay.
you still have to set the dollar amount. So
Okay.
it sounds like y'all are wanting to pay the 400, so just make a motion to pay the 400.
I'm
But we
making
have
the
two
motion
things
to-
that she brought up. Are we doing it together or separate?
Well, she's gonna do it all in a minute.
Okay.
So do this amendment next.
So we have a motion by trustee Wood to raise, and who is the second?
I'll second.
Okay, then second by trustee Pinkerton, raising the monthly stipend to 400 a month for the student president.
The whole thing all
Okay.
together.
Okay. Okay. Do you need a verbal vote from us?
my start date is.
Okay.
You have to stop asking her question.
Well, we gotta amend it on here. I will. Let me know when you're done typing, Michelle, we have one more to fix.
This is just like a little flavor of Big Bear right here.
Right, well, the last one's easy.
It's just not 3 a.m.
It
I
will
want to
be.
read it back to you as soon as I can get it. Jennifer, trustee Weiss?
Yes.
Which privilege was it about the advisory vote?
The advisory vote was privileged too.
So we're removing
Well-
privilege.
It is no, yes, it is no longer a privilege, it's a student trustee right. And the document isn't on here, but it's AB 1541.
Okay, you have to update the board policy. You can't do that right now. This is a board policy, so we can change the board policy. But she's just pointing out that
Correct.
we don't need that in this resolution tonight because it's a board policy, which you cannot change on one night's vote. You have to have a first read and a second read, so just know we need to update that board policy, okay? And so what you're really doing into the original resolution is you're just saying that when Board Docs is able to allow a motion and a second by the student trustee, then we will do that. And you're gonna update their pay to 400 a month. Those two things.
And when you're ready.
Okay, wait, and to update the student stipend, to $400 a month, beginning.
Well, this
Are we
is,
saying, are we tying it to
this is
FTE?
May 5th, you have to do this by May 15th to start July 1st. So this starts July 1st.
Are we putting the monthly stipend amount or are we
Yeah,
putting
400.
that we're tying it to the FTE?
All right, we're
No,
ready.
Okay.
No,
So here's how it reads.
one more. The last one, the start date's wrong. It says June 1st. It's not June, it's July. She stays through June.
Yeah, that's
I have
true.
July.
Correct.
Yeah, the new
I
one
don't know how we
starts
got
in
that.
July.
This is beginning of our year.
That's a correction.
So
Okay.
it's to approve amended privilege, well, it says to approve privileges 2, 4, and 5 below, student trustee member, with amendments as follows. To include approval that when board docs is able to allow the student to make a motion and second, the trustees will allow the student trustee to do so, and to update the student trustee stipend to $400 a month beginning July 1st, 2024. Good enough?
Think so.
I'm happy with it.
You know, this
You take a
says,
verbal vote?
this says 600 per semester, so,
Yeah, is it payable per semester?
I do get my checks per semester, so it'd be 2,400 per semester. If you wanted to do per semester rather than
is that what
paying-
needs to happen?
Correct.
2,400, so 2,400 per semester instead of 400 a month. What he said is the idea is that they finish the term, because we've actually had it where they didn't.
Yeah, we have.
Student advisor?
Of course.
Just double check.
It would be funny.
I told her to vote no. Robert Sewell has a question.
You ready?
I am ready.
Robert, did you
I
have a
think
question?
Sewell has a question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sewell. Absolutely.
Might be the only community college in California that treats their trustees in such a respectful fashion. And when Jen goes to the conferences, she's right, we have allowed for many years the trustees to really have the advisory vote, but also to speak first. So when AB 1541 stipulates both are required, but you've been doing that for so long that it's gives them
Yeah.
an opportunity to share and at least have you consider that when you actually make your vote.
I did want to thank you all again for it. Like, I do recognize that as well. So I'm very thankful for that. But I also really like the new pay raise for the next trustees as well.
Cool.
We'll work
I think,
more forward.
Thank you.
you know, I think that there's some, a lot of times we're using a lot of common sense. So it's funny as you sit there as a trustee and you go these things all the time, you scratch your head and go, wow, there's some of these boards that there's not a lot of love at all. And it's really sad to see. So I'm pleased that we do this. Item 10.3, I have a resolution 24.08 recognizing classified school employee week. Because there are multiple resolutions, I'm going to ask if she would, trustee Pinkerton, to read this particular one. There's 3 tonight. I don't want to read all 3. Would you mind reading this for us?
This one?
We want to be sure
We
we
need
get
a
it
motion,
all
right?
on the record tonight.
So motion?
Yeah, we have a motion by,
Second.
we have a motion by trustee Tarpley, a second by trustee Wood, and we're going to have trustee Pinkerton read this resolution.
Let's see, the third full week of May 19th through the 25th has been designated as Classified School Employee Week in California by the California School Employees Association and the California State Legislature. Whereas classified professionals provide valuable services to the schools and students of the Victor Valley Community College District, and whereas classified professionals contribute to the establishment and promotion of a positive instructional environment, and whereas classified professionals serve a vital role in providing for welfare and safety of Victor Valley Community College District, and whereas classified professionals employed by the Victor Valley Community College District strive for excellence in all areas relative to the educational community. Therefore, be it resolved that the Victor Valley Community College District hereby recognizes and wishes to honor the contribution of the classified professionals to quality education in the state of California and in the Victor Valley Community College District. It further declares the week of May 19th through 25th, 2024 as Classified School Employee Week in the Victor Valley Community College District.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Need to, we have a motion? A student trustee?
Yes.
Thanks, Michelle. Whew, that was a great assist.
Every
Deep
time,
in the fourth quarter.
every time y'all pass one of these, the next morning, my office sends this to the entire campus.
Oh, I was looking at the screen. It's time to go to sleep. Looking at the screen, waiting for the layup. Nobody there. You go? Okay. 24.09, Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month Resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A motion by
Second.
trustee Wood. I
Second.
have a second by trustee Tarpley, and trustee Wood has agreed as clerk of the board to read this resolution.
Perfect. Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, May 14th, 2024. On motion of member Wood, seconded by member Tarpley, the following resolution is hereby adopted. Whereas on March 28th, 1979, President Carter issues the first presidential proclamation for Asian Pacific American Heritage Week. And whereas in 1992, Congress expanded this observance to a month-long celebration in May known as the Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And whereas in 2009, presidents have expanded the commemoration to honor Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. And whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have contributed in great and significant ways to society, playing a vital role in our nation's economic and technological growth. And whereas the vast diversity of cultural traditions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders continues to strengthen the fabric of American society. And whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Heritage Month is an opportunity for all Americans to commemorate the struggles and victories of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in our history and their invaluable contributions to society. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Victor Valley Community College District recognizes Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, encourages all citizens to explore the rich and significant heritage of the Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, and honors the vital role they have played in the economy, culture, and community throughout the district and the United States. Passed and adopted by this governing board, May 14th, 2024.
Student trustee?
Yes.
Kelly? Good. Resolution number 24-10, recognize National Teacher Day and California Day of the Teacher. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee Pinkerton. I've asked trustee Tarpley to read this resolution.
On motion of member Tarpley, seconded by member Pinkerton, the following resolution is hereby adopted. Whereas the foundation of American freedom and democracy is a strong and effective system of education where all people have the opportunity to learn in a safe and nurturing environment, and whereas much of the success of our nation is the result of the hard work and dedication of teachers across the nation, and whereas teachers spend untold hours and resources preparing lessons, evaluating progress, and providing guidance and encouragement to their students, and whereas no other profession touches as many individuals with such a lasting effect, and whereas the dedicated teachers at Victor Valley Community College educate, motivate, and inspire students, molding the minds and training the workforce of the future. And whereas California has produced the thinkers, the scientists, the inventors, the technicians, and the engineers that have led our nation to become the strongest economy in the world now. Therefore, be it resolved that Victor Valley Community College District hereby recognizes and wishes to honor the contribution of all teachers and the quality of education they provide in the state of California and throughout the United States. The Victor Valley Community College District declares May 7th, 2024 National Teacher Day and May 8th, 2024 California Day of the Teacher.
Student trustee?
Yes.
Robert, do you also send these to students? Okay, thank you.
Thank Next one's resolution 10.6, resolution number 24.11 candidate statement. Dr. Walden, would you please?
Motion?
I'm sorry. I need a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee Pinkerton. Dr. Walden?
What this does is this sets the limit to the number of words when a candidate wants to run for office for board to 200 words, and they must pay the cost of that at the time of filing. So that's been the practice of the past. We just brought what you've done before.
I failed to print it up, Mr. Brady, so I'll get with you this week to bring it to you Thursday.
You got it. No problem. And just for everybody to understand, it runs anywhere, now that we're in districts, anywhere between like $2,500 and $3,500 per district per candidate. Student trustee?
Yes.
I did have a discussion. Does anybody remember, was it 300 words or 200 words?
200.
It was
200. It's
200.
always been 200.
Okay.
Let me tell you, it's a science to get it down to exactly,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you're as wordy as I am. Jen, I admit it.
Hey,
More words,
I like
more
it.
money.
That's right. Well, I'm looking at the screen. Oh, boy. So 10.7, do I have a motion to,
Motion.
no, I'm only kidding. This one is, this is very important. Consideration approval of employment agreement with Superintendent President Dr. Daniel Walden. Do I have a motion?
Yes, motion.
Second.
Second.
Oh, boy.
Sharon
Okay,
can have
so
it.
we have trustee Tarpley got there first.
Sharon beat me.
And trustee Pinkerton got there second. So with that, I will tell you, and I think just a little discussion. Dr. Walden is reviewed and reviewed and reviewed and reviewed
Evaluated.
on a very, very, very regular basis. And there are 3-hour meetings. He's done very well. I think we're very proud to have him. I believe he is going to go down as the greatest superintendent of all time. And it's great to work with him. We have some great conversations sometimes. It's not, we all have different opinions. But Dr. Walden, I think you've done a great job. This contract is well-deserved, and I know this board totally supports you. And I know the students and the faculty support you. So do we have any other discussion? Anybody want to say anything?
Oh, I thought Brandon would for sure.
We're waiting for what he's going to take us out to dinner, but
We
Maestro's.
had our special board meeting about it.
You reconsidering maybe?
So student advisory.
Oh, student advisory.
Yes.
Thanks, Jen.
I got you.
You want to get home by Christmas. Congratulations, Dr. Walden.
Well, hold on, the votes aren't in yet.
Yeah, I think See,
love it.
everybody voted. Everybody clapped for you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Michelle may have held it.
It's
just
my
a little.
privilege, and I'm still having fun.
So Wendy, if you're watching, you can go out and get that new rolls tonight.
Oh.
Okay, so number 11, Superintendent President Action Agenda. Nothing. Administrative Services, 12.1, agreement with PCH Architects.
Motion.
Do I have a,
Second.
okay, I have a motion by trustee Wood, and a second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
.2, agreement with PCH Architects. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee Pinkerton. Student trustee?
Yes.
Twelve point three, agree with Aleutian Company LP. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Motion by trustee Wood, second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Twelve point four, change order 8, increase with Bernard Brothers, Inc. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by trustee Tarpley, and second by trustee Pinkerton. Student trustee?
Yes.
While we're waiting for the vote to come up, people have asked me in the past that when we get towards the back in the administrative, all these items have been discussed with each one of us during our consultation with Dr. Walden. So that's why there's typically no questions, because he does a good job in educating. 12.5, agree with Precision Inspections, Inc. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, a second by trustee Wood. Student trustee?
Yes.
Twelve point six agreement, Zoom Video Communications, Inc., SOW for professional services. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Motion by trustee Tarpley,
Second.
second by trustee Wood. Student,
Yes.
twelve point seven, CUP CCA agreement with Cooley Construction, Inc. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Second.
Motion
Mr.
by
President,
trustee.
may I read something first?
Yeah.
So this is the one to tear down the
The
oblique.
tower.
The oblique-styled structures situated on the northeast corner of Bear Valley Road in Spring Valley Lake was built in the fall of 1969 for $15,000. You're going to pay $48,000 to tear it down. The tower was used as the communications antenna for construction crews working the then undisturbed land that was eventually transformed into Spring Valley Lake. The Leo Chase Construction Company erected the 5-section tower in 63 days. It overlooked the Boise Cascade Home and Land Corporation Sales Office, which opened October 25th, 1969, to sell Spring Valley Lake property. But even company officials had a difficult time explaining what it was all about. The tower does not have a functional use. This is what they said then. Boise Cascades Peter Lecas admitted it's just a landmark, like the Eiffel Tower, to indicate where Spring Valley Lake is.
Now, think about this. In 1969, there was not a stoplight or a stop sign on Bear Valley Road. There was nothing out there. So imagine you got off this freeway on what's Bear Valley Road. It was a dirt path, and this is the highest thing in the land. So think about it. Yeah, things have changed. Wow. What's that? Yeah, wow. And there's a Circle K convenience store inside this building here. Wow, cool. Student trustee?
Yes.
Wow, this is almost history. This is interesting to vote on this.
It's like the Tropicana dropping it.
Oh, how stupid to put a baseball stadium at that corner. It's just stupid. But, Bob Shear, if you're watching this,
Oh,
we tried
sorry,
to save
thank
it,
you.
but we couldn't do it. 12.8, technology agreement with Visual Edge IT Inc.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee Pinkerton. Dr. Walden, can you
Just commend Jay on this. This is a replacement and upgrade of our multifunction copiers and printers throughout the district. The consolidation and reduction in the number of devices results in $266,916 savings to the district over the life of the agreement. So,
Congrats. Thank you. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point one, academic second contract recommendation.
Motion.
so
These are all informational, I think.
No, it's
this
action.
this is action item, but this is the newly hired faculty from last year getting a second year's contract.
Okay, great. We have a motion by trustee Tarpley,
Second.
second by trustee Wood. Tied to the runner there. Okay. Student trustee?
Yes.
Oh.
You go. 13.2, academic third contract recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
These are the
Second.
three-year people.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley and a second by trustee Wood. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point three, academic equivalency, Vincent Guerrero. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, a second by trustee Pinkerton. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point four, academic equivalency, John Rodriguez.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Wood, second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point five, non-classified short-term employees. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Tarpley,
Second.
second by trustee Wood. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point six, new management job classification and salary placement for assistant director of maintenance and operations. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Ooh.
I have a motion by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee Wood. Student trustee?
Yes.
Thirteen point seven, amended reorganization plan of the Administrative Services Division. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Oh, I'll
Motion
second.
by trustee Tarpley, second by trustee Pinkerton. Student trustee?
Yes.
So this next is just a public hearing, the opening and closing of public hearing. There's no vote. Right, no vote.
Yep, correct. 13.8, public hearing on successor contract between district and CSEA.
Declare it open.
We declare it
Oh, motion to open it?
motion to open.
Second?
A motion by trustee
Wood.
Wood and a second by trustee Tarpley to open 13.8.
It's open.
No, it's where it should be, but there's no.
There's
action.
no typically any discussion.
So anyway, if you declare it open, does anybody want to talk on it?
Open.
It's open for the public.
Anybody? Somebody? Come
Okay.
on.
Close it. They're done.
13.9, new management job classification, salary placement for payroll coordinator.
Motion?
I have a motion.
Second.
A motion by trustee Tarpley, a second by trustee Wood. Oh, student trustee.
Yes.
Hello. Section 14, instruction to action agenda, 14.1, curriculum changes. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second?
I have a motion by trustee Wood, a second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
See, now I didn't forget you. All right. 14.2, employer engagement manager, sub-agreement for the 2024-2025 renewal. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
I have a motion by trustee Wood and a second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Amendment to memorandum of understanding for the Simba Center 24-25. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Tarpley. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by trustee Pinkerton. Student trustee?
Yes.
That was a firm trustee Tarpley.
Thank you.
It's like clear, man.
Oh, it's me, sorry.
15.2 amendment to memorandum of understanding for the Simba Center 24-25. Do I have a Motion?
Oh, second.
I have a motion by trustee Pinkerton, a second by trustee Tarpley. Student trustee?
Yes.
Definitely.
Item 17, adjournment. It is, that's what it says, adjournment, should be adjournment. It is the intention of Victor Valley Community College District to comply with the American with Disabilities Act in all respects. Any person with a disability may request that the agenda be made available in the appropriate alternative format. A request for a disability-related modification or accommodation may be made by a person with a disability who requires a modification or accommodation in order to participate in the public meeting to Monica Martinez, Victor Valley College, 18422 Bear Valley Road, Victorville, California, 92395-5849, or by calling 760-245-4271, extension 2455 from 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m., Monday through Friday, at least 48 hours prior to the meeting to make reasonable arrangements under Government Code Section 54954.2. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by trustee Wood, second by trustee Pinkerton to adjourn. Thanks, everybody. God bless you and be safe.